you're more likely to remember those because they stay in this part, and your memory capacity is so small, but it will remember, okay, how can I, as a baby, it comes back to this evolutionary.
Let's fucking go, my bitches! Oh, we are back, my boys.
Cheers, lads.
Let's go. Look who we have here, my guys. Aussie slang Beanos.
Oh, it's good to be back, boys.
At this point, you're not even a guest anymore. Like, it doesn't count as a guest. This is just a round table. TJM Records just fucking chopping it up, man. Everyone's back, full panel. Aussie slang.
Let's go.
Amen.
Thank you for coming on, as always, my brother.
Appreciate it.
Now, before we do the introductions of the Slangg Bean and sort of catch up what he's been doing, let's go around. DZ, how are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I don't really have much that I can think of really happened this week. Yeah, just slaving away, doing the same shit I was doing last week. Joey, how you been? How's your trip?
Yeah, went on a cruise. I was just telling the boys off air, like, I'm very grateful for the trip. It sounded like I was ungrateful for the trip, the way I came in. but I find, I love the trip. It was good. But not my certain type. Like on the cruise, I'd choose like a cruise. I feel like you're stuck a little bit after a few days.
Yes, I agree.
But I try to, enjoy myself as much as I can. But as I get older, I find it so funny, especially because Tori's a big people watcher. So I'm usually like blissfully unaware. I just walk through life. People see me like, hey, Joy, I seen you the other day and you just stared straight through me. And I'm like, it looks like I'm snobbing him, but I'm just like, whatever. And I just like people watch now more. And then it's like, if I can like not make fun of someone, but like if someone pisses me off, I'm like, I just like try and turn it into like fuck you, but like in my head, like I just like, and I'm just like, all like judge people. I know it's toxic, but like there was this one person, the swell was so like in like rocky 4 or 5 meter waves. People were like throwing up in like the main reception area, and it looked like a quarantine. Because the higher you are on the boat, the more rocky it is, and so they were all going to the reception to vomit, right? And I'm going, don't get me wrong, I was like, oh my god, poor kid. This kid was like 9, 10 with her mum. She was pouring water through her hair because she vomited through her hair and stuff. Yeah, and I was like, but in my head, my cunt self, this is what I was talking about when I get older. I just see something, but I go to your room. Like, no one wants to see that. You know what I mean? So I'm walking past it, and the first thing I said to Tori was like, no one needs to see that. Like, I'd rather eat shit in my room on level 14 than like anyone, like DZ, like a random, looking in my face as I'm dribbling. And I'm like, dying. And you're like, oh man, like, you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, my original thing was another thing was I get in the pool. And the P&O thing is like, oh yeah, go in the pool, go to this, do that. But there's so many kids. There's 3,000 people on the ship. 3,000. So many are kids. You go to the pool section, and it's just like, it's like you dropped a bit of beer. You dropped probably like a carton of beer in a big pool, and it's just got a yellow hue to it. Not bad. I'm talking about the spas in the kids section. And I'm like, oh man, fuck that. So I go to the Oasis part, which was like the no kids one. And me and Tori just like,
yeah, fuck, yeah. But I wouldn't even set foot in the other one, bro.
So so there's little peas when I get older. I'm like, oh, that annoys me. But I didn't let it ruin my trip. But I kind of have fun with those ideas and those thoughts. That's what I was trying to say. So, but yeah.
How long were we on the cruise for?
5 days, 4 nights. We went to.
Oh, that's wild.
We went to Moreton Bay. So the second day we got to 2 days of sailing. Got to Moreton Bay. Asked for Moreton Bay bugs because went in Moreton Bay. They go, we don't do them till dinner. And I'm like.
We don't have.
And this is again my older self in my head. I'm like, oh, that's a shame. And then I'm like, you're telling me in my head like it's Moreton Bay, and you're telling me you're not catching any Moreton Bay bugs during the day. There's just a night thing, and they just come out of night. Like, don't you have any on it? And if you knew, right, because they'll have a package deal with the P&O cruises that because this island only has 300 people on the island, right? All its business is for when these P&O babies come in. You know, all these tourists and shit like myself just wanted seafood. And then they've gone.
Fuck, I love seafood.
Then they've gone. Sorry, the Moreton Bays are for nighttime. Bitch, get me some Moreton Bay bugs. Like now, they got the prawns, they got the oysters, they got this, got that. No Moreton Bay. So I was like already pissed off, and I'm like, okay. And then I go to me and Tori, I'm like, I'm getting seafood. I line up, and then I'm like, oh, this is the start of the line. And then someone's like, oh, excuse me, and he points back. the line was like, hey, ready? About 50 plus meters long, right? And I started walking, and about 10 meters of walking,
Oh, fuck this.
15 meters, and I literally out loud, like not out loud, but I was literally like how loud I'm speaking. I go, fuck all of that, and I went to get a burger next door, which is pretty good by the way. But actually, it was pretty chat, but whatever. Look at me, full complaining this whole time. Hey, have I said one?
Did you like anything?
Oh my god.
Have I said one bad thing? Well, and then it was like $60 for a few oysters and a few prawns, and I was like, yeah, just burger.
That's expensive.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
but it was good. We had a nightclub on there called Altitude, and it was right on the 18th floor. And
cool.
we got in there, and me and my brother-in-law was all fob. We just played Piccolo on our phones, like you know the game where it's like, hey DZ, if you've ever like done this, have 2 drinks. Before you know it, we're just doing Long Islands, margaritas, this and that.
yeah.
I had
Dangerous
10 Long Islands the first night. I started drinking at
fucking 10
I started
Long
drinking. I started drinking at 9 p.m. Finished at 1:30, so a shorter session. But within that time, 10 Long Islands.
You'd be
And the only
buckled
reason
out.
there was a video of me putting my mouth over the rim of the thing is. I'll get the video. I'll get my brother to send it next one. And say this is the cup. I go this, and then he goes down, and I went and I downed it with my whole mouth around.
God.
That's mad.
Holy.
And I felt so. I'm like, oh damn, this is like the altitude. This is like the only part, and it was dead as well. But we just made it.
Yeah,
we just made it fun. You know what I mean? But I only drank 2 nights out of the 4, which wasn't too bad, right? But I didn't want to make it a full just bender session.
a
You want to
5-day
enjoy it.
bender,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
The last time I
Hungover
went on a
every day.
cruise, it was a 2-week cruise. It was when I was
2
turning
weeks?
Yeah. It was me.
That's
me,
too long, bro.
Me and my family, and Cooper was with me. It was one of the best holidays I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, right.
Because it was this fucking 2 week. I came back yellow. Yeah, it was 2 week bender. I'm being serious. My fucking nails and shit went yellow.
Did you travel next to like Asian countries? He traveled past like China. It's just like
I drank so much, my liver was fucking up.
oh wow.
Yeah, you go yellow.
He got scurvy.
You know, because alcoholics have yellow fingernails and shit, right?
You were drinking.
You were drinking for 2 weeks straight.
I fell
Solid
down the
effort,
fucking flight of stairs on the P&O.
Come back looking like you're off the
I was
Simpsons. or
sunburned,
something.
and I'm white as fuck, and I was red. A red Apache, bruv. Like, it was fucking crazy.
Come back like that yellow.
Yeah, bro. My fingers and shit were fucked up.
That's hilarious. Guys, as always, this episode is brought to you by Hydro Grip, Elon Musk's Starlink, and Sheepdog Whiskey. Maybe not the other two, but the Hydro Grip. Get yours. The links are all in the description. The bottles are awesome.
Grip deal 10. You get discount.
Grip deal 10. You will hear the ad also playing randomly, in the first 30 minutes of this of each episode. So as always, if you're going to purchase something, let them know you come from FireCast.
Buy one, tag them, tag us as well.
Yeah,
man.
tag them,
Show us, man.
share it around,
Show
share
us
the
how
love,
to-
man. Share the love.
Someone get the orange, get the black, get the ones we don't got. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Now, Aussie slang.
Yes.
I love asking you this question because every time you come on, it's a different answer every time. Right? What's been going on? Streaming. What's been happening? We're talking a bit off air with what you want to do next with sort of your career on because obviously we all know by now that you're a psychologist for work, which is what other record label has a fucking psychologist on their label, right? Seriously, like come on, like fuck. So we all know that, and some of the stories you tell me, man, it's just fucking, I don't know how you do it, man. I've got to give it to you, bro. You're a fucking better man than I, bro, because like I was literally saying to this guy off air, I'm like, this cunt, you're an animal. You're a beast. Like you're a different type of dude. So how are you going right now, sort of balancing the whole streaming stuff? You've really slowed down and you've
stopped.
You want to try a whole different angle.
Yeah, so video game streaming, I've stopped.
It's
basically.
hard, eh?
When you do a job like kind of where you interact with people, like 5 days a week, and then you have to commit 3 days, 3 nights, or 4 nights to be consistent. It gets very hard. It gets emotionally draining. And even when we started that podcast, which we only did 3 episodes for, which fucking flopped.
That's a shame, man, because it was good.
Yeah,
Like,
we had a good idea, but it's just, obviously a big part of it was me and work. I was hosting it, but I was dead, in the head.
Yeah.
Like, I was like already spent. So yeah, I stopped it. So I've not streamed since May.
Yeah, right.
No, that's no.
Was
it's
it
not.
hard to stop, or did
July.
you why did you stop? What's the go?
So I stopped because it
too
became
much
very
with-
time consuming. Obviously, as well, like having a girlfriend. This is my longest relationship.
And let's face
So-
it, that's probably one of the biggest
One of the
reasons,
bigger ones,
right?
yeah. I usually spend my Saturdays with Genevieve. It's changed now, but still, like we spend a lot of time together on the weekends because she's working part time all over the clock. I'm working full time.
And is it ever an aphrodisiac when you're playing the PlayStation for copious amounts of time? I'm not giving shit to anyone that games, but is there any chicks that think that's hot? Or do you reckon a lot of the time they're like, listen, if you're going to do anything, like, do you reckon that some girls just like, they don't give a shit?
No, yeah, I feel like
I'm just genuinely asking here.
I feel like there's no in the middle. I feel like if
They either hate it or they don't mind.
Yeah, or
don't
they
like-
either hate it or they're a gamer
love it.
themselves.
Oh, yeah, true.
Like I'm talking like full. If you're
That's
a
what I mean. I
full-on
feel
nerd-
like a lot of the time it is hate
Dude,
for it. You know what I mean?
I
As
see-
the partner side of things.
Yeah. So
What's up, Australia? It's Egyptian Thunder God here from FireCast. Do you like training? What about staying hydrated? What about letting the world know? Because we all know that everyone loves to film themselves. If you don't film it at the gym, it doesn't count. This is the easiest way to take your videos at the gym. It's got this magnetic ring, the back of your phone. Set it up like so and record whatever you want. You don't have to be some obnoxious dude or girl bringing some tripod thing to the gym. No one wants to see that. This is so subtle, yet so effective. 10% of every purchase also goes to the Sydney Children's Hospital, so that's a plus. This thing stays hot or cold for hours, and it just doesn't get better than this. You know what I mean? You can pick up yours whenever you want. Hydro grip. Let's go.
fuck, like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Me and Chloe, man, we had fucking. It was hard when we first got together because I was 24/7. I wasn't gaming, but I was fucking making music and shit, trying to fucking.
And did you have
get
to
this
also
shit.
not for other reasons, but Chloe as well? You like
Yeah.
you have a girlfriend like
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
You have to provide that time, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, I
which
think one of the things-
I can sort of see where they're coming from.
And do you have to stream for a certain amount to get as big as you wanted to get, or did you want to get big through it, or like?
Well, wouldn't mind. I mean, I got to
Alright.
a point, but it depends what you think big is. Like, I'm not going to be mega
Making-
Doctor Disrespect and stuff like that.
oh no,
that
but
was
just
never.
make money.
You
or
were
something.
fucking good, killing it.
Well,
bro.
yeah.
So
fucking
all
big
up in the
community.
last 3 years, I did it. It got me $10,000 basically.
Yeah.
and that's if we talk about full time
That's
wages.
pretty good.
Nowhere near.
No, but it's pretty good in
Yeah.
terms of like doing that. It's
Yeah,
like
it paid
you
for
know
my
what I mean?
PC. It paid for
Yeah.
a whole bunch of other investments I did into it, like emojis, certain other projects we've done as well. Yeah, it was really good. But what kind of happened was I needed to have, not needed, needed is not the right word, but I wanted to have better boundaries, I guess, because I knew what I was doing was not really not helping, but like I looked at it like a service and I started looking at it like a job instead of a hobby. So that's when it got a little bit bad for me because then I'm playing gacha games, man. You're basically gambling for fucking PNG, big titty waifus, can't like that's not. I kind of got to a point where that hit a wall too. I'm like, this is not encompassing who I am, as a person as well. And I went, you know what, fuck it. Like so I pulled back off that, and plus some of the games I was playing like really dropped down. The only game I could think of was Viv Fate. That will never drop away because it's got a massive fan base, and it's a great anime and stuff like that. But I had to pull back from it, and having a girlfriend too really impacted that. But also as well, like I was only streaming on Saturdays at some point because when I came home on a Thursday, a Friday, I was done. I was seeing 5 clients a day. I had, like I was saying to Chloe before, this week alone, it's only Wednesday? Fuck, I've done 2 DCJ reports, man. That's fucked.
DCJ reports.
Department Community and Justice. So I had to report, neglect and stuff.
Oh,
so
true.
that's very full on.
Yeah.
And then imagine trying to come home and then stream
And
to
then
like 30
spend-
people.
and trying to be
you want to
happy
make it
and-
like you
yeah,
want
like-
some substance to it as well because I love the people in my Discord, bro. We nearly hit 300 people in the Discord. I've nearly gotten to 1,000 followers on Twitch. It sucks that I haven't got to 1,000 followers. It really pisses me off that I haven't done that. But I just had to pull back. And since then too, like my relationships have gotten better. And I've started doing new hobbies. So I've started to get back into the TCG, TGM, TCG. So trading card games. I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, yeah.
Competitively again. And I fucking love
Are you any
that.
good or what?
I'm not really good. But,
I kill that shit.
if I show you my Numeron app, because that keeps an eye on
Yeah.
your wins and losses, I'm about like 2 wins, 2 losses every tournament.
Yeah.
What's
And
your
it-
best card? Don't you keep a deck, right? What, you got Blue Eyes, White Dragon, whatever the fuck it is.
I play Branded Despia deck, which is like a deck about dragons, but I've got my Dark Magician in there so I can use him every now and then. And I can show you later when we go out because I've brought some of the folder and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've been doing that a lot more too, and that's been really giving me a bit more of the hobby side of things because Twitch started becoming a job.
Yeah.
And I think
So-
when we had our collective group, sorry, Joey,
No, I was the one.
I
I
felt
was
a
the
bit
one
of pressure
chopping
as well. And, especially with the podcast flopping, that kind of really hit me. And then work, when I started dropping in April, May, it was because like I started going, like a big part of it was also me going back into my faith. You know,
Yeah.
started going to church more, and I had to take a step back. So that's basically what happened.
And
It's a mix of shit.
have you done have you told the Discord group? Like, have you let them down yet? Or is it kind of...
It's hard because like there's still conversation going on in there. But I haven't had
How do you part ways?
Well, I don't want to part ways. Like we were having a conversation before, which I will probably leave for later on. Not today, but like maybe later on in the year. Like it's not the end. I was honest to God gonna hang up the belt and just be like, fuck it. I'm gonna go full bro counseling, psychotherapy, maybe even doing business as well or something like that. But I said, you know what? No, because we live in the age now of technology. We live in the age of social media. We live in the age of content creation.
You're always going to be around it, bro.
You have to, and if you you got to like. To be, you know, I don't want to sound like every fucking day capitalist, but you got to be in it to win it.
100%.
And right now, your life situation now isn't necessarily going to be your exact life situation in the future. So you can eventually, you and your partner, you're going to get more used to just coexisting and doing your other things. And, you know, if it's a lifetime thing, this is what I struggle to do with, like being able to coexist without being like full in each other's shit. But eventually you might have more time on your hands because something else is doing better and this and that. You know what I mean? Like right now is not the time, but it would be hard to part. But it's not right. It would be pretty like redundant to try and think that that's for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? What if you do have time and you're
I
like...
feel like I've grown up as well.
Yeah.
You know, like because I'm a massive nerd. I love manga.
Will you lose your ability to be good at like at whatever you're playing on stream? It's like you pick up... Can you pick it up however long after and you're just as good though?
Probably.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the games we were playing weren't like, they weren't skill-based games.
Yeah,
Like,
gambling.
they were gacha games, and people love just seeing your fucking like
So I thought
Genshin
it was
Impact, Fate Grand Order, Bleach Brave Souls, Wolverine Wave. Started playing that, but like I'm a massive manga anime fan. Fucking, have you seen, by the way, My Hero Academia's ended?
No, I haven't seen the end.
The manga ended.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the manga's done. But anyway, we'll come to that. But I'll always be a nerd, and I love that shit. But
So funny because you basically subbed out one nerdy thing for another. But
that's what I was gonna say.
But just one takes way less time out of your freaking life, right?
It's more community based. Like, so when you go to, so I play, big shout out to Mega Games in Penrith, by the way. They host Pokemon tournaments, Magic the Gathering tournaments, a whole bunch of other Yu-Gi-Oh, Star Wars card games as well, which are fucking awesome.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
One Piece card game, like a whole bunch of games, right? They do Warhammer and shit like that as well.
Yeah.
They're awesome people, the people that own it, and
They do D&D.
Get Dungeons and Dragons. I see the motherfuckers take out all the shit in the lockers and they set up their map and shit.
Okay, hold on a second
it's
right
full
now.
figures and shit, and it's like the table's probably from there to here, and they set up their bases and they got the mountains and they got the lava. And like,
Hold on a second. I'm gonna get my ass down there,
Bro,
man.
it's really
shit.
sick.
Okay.
I watched the people play the Pokemon game too.
Yeah.
So Yu-Gi-Oh is a bit more interactive because you got to interrupt your opponent and do all this bullshit. But Pokemon is like you get Infernape out, you get Palkia out, and she's running through the deck to do a whole bunch of shit. They're very interesting games. And Star Wars as well. Cunts are getting fucking Anakin, Vader out. They're using all these fucking other cards to support them into fucking attacking, getting the HP down. One Piece is popping off.
I like collecting the cards, but I got a small collection of Pokemon cards, but I don't know. I've never known how to play. Like I don't fucking.
So I'm trying to tell Riley because Riley's got heaps as well. But I said make a deck. Teach me, we'll do it together, and I'll come and I'll play it with yous. You know? But it's really good community-based stuff too. I've met a few people that are really, really awesome as well.
Couldn't you start streaming that?
I want to as well. I want to add that. So I'm not going to... So one of the things we were going to talk about, I think, because next week there's a new Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a new core set coming out. And, you know, I've taken a break, obviously, but I was wondering maybe for you guys to expand a bit more into like content, like other content. Why don't we do a fucking pack opening? It's fucking 24 packs, a couple of secret rares, quarter century secret rares. We I've got cards that are fucking worth $60-$80.
I'm always thinking of ideas of shit. You know what we should do? Have you seen what Steve Will Do It's been playing? The fucking the chicken game where you bet in the chicken game. He's betting like fucking millions of dollars. Like, you know the game, what's it called? Crossy Road or whatever, where the cars are coming. So it's like that, but with money. And they're on this fucking, on Roobet online, and I see heaps of cunts on TikTok playing it. It's just a little chicken, and you press the buttons and it goes across the road, and every time it's like, depends how much money you put in, but he's doing like $1 million, $2 million.
How rich is Steve Will Do It?
Very rich.
He's
very rich.
He's very rich.
But I'm surprised you haven't seen it. It looks fucking mad.
I remember Steve Will Do It when he was just like drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Remember when he was just drinking?
That's how he got famous.
That's how he got famous, yeah. But I want to do shit like that. I've been saying to him, like, we got to think of more YouTube content. We do golf videos. We do all kinds of shit.
I'll be there for those golf videos. You know what I've done once at golf, by the way? You're both going to laugh at, or you're going to laugh at this, sorry. So I was fucked up playing golf.
I better laugh now because you said
if you don't, I'm ashamed of myself. But I went to go and fucking hit this driver, right, down this fucking fairway. And, was it fairway? Just down the fucking course.
Yeah.
I've smacked it off my fucking nut, right? This is like 10 a.m. in the morning, started at fucking 8:30.
Yeah.
We were in Foster. I smashed it. I don't see the ball. The ball comes up, smacks me in the chin.
Oh, you hit yourself in the head.
I'm standing over with the fucking
How
golf
the fuck?
How did
Because
that happen?
I just asked my stepdad.
I've only
Are
seen...
you talking about the golf ball hit you in the
Golf
chin?
ball. So I've chipped it. It's come off. Right?
That's
It's
not
gone.
chip, that's-
It's gone this way.
It's
It's
a
gone up to the left and just smacked me in the chin.
You got -1 meter. Like on the shot.
Bro,
On the shot, it was that
And
bad.
that's when I realised, like, cunt, I fucking have gone through half a case of Great Northerns. Let's slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
It's 10 a.m. How the fuck are we going to get the dinner?
I've only
You know?
seen one person in my life do that, and that was Josh McCann.
Really?
The only other person I've ever seen hit themselves in the head with a golf ball.
Yeah.
Did he? Did it bounce off something and go back?
No, what Cow does
Exactly.
explain, he
Yeah.
went to drive it,
Yeah.
and he's just driven it straight up into the chin.
Because if you hit it a certain way, right, because it's on the tee,
Yeah.
it's got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if
And
you get right on
So
top.
you've
Yeah.
gone right under it, and it's
right
gone.
on top of the bitch, and I was fucking leaning right, and this bit went up and smacked me in the face. Cunt. Like, fuck.
Oh my god, man, that's fucking crack up.
Yeah.
So streaming, you've called it quits, and so you haven't yet told Discord,
No, not
I'm
yet.
done. You're just kind of letting it ride out.
And look,
I
I don't think I'm done. I
Yeah,
think-
yeah, but I mean,
Just
like
shifting
it's-
focus.
Yeah. Because it's like priorities change, and I think
100%. And you grow as a person too. You can't do the
100%.
same shit for
100%.
fucking.
And I think, like when I did this job, when I was doing AOD counselling, I needed something to really remind me, I guess, of like reality and like community, because you see so much really full on stuff in the community. But this job was way more full on, and I think I needed more downtime, more community. Like when you're on a PC talking to a chat, that's great, but it's not the same as me doing collabs with you guys, which I took the most out of. Making other content with people, you're doing it on your own.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
what I for me again, the really big thing was looked at it like a job. I looked at it numbers wise, and that's what killed it. That was the end of it. Because then I started feeling shit, and I got a bit depressed because
It's
I
a
was
very
like,
common thing.
yeah, cool. Because you feel like you're shit. You're not doing enough to get the subscriptions you're getting. People are like fucking Odyssey. Shout out to him. Fucking was donating so much money and bought a few games for me to play, and I fucking, that made me feel like shit.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to be like, nah, I can't do this anymore. So
Yeah.
Well, how's the church then? What's with the church? The church thing.
Take
What
me
happened?
to church.
You've changed. You've gone a bit deeper into your religion.
So I've always been a Catholic.
Yeah.
We went to DOMS together, so that's a Catholic school.
Yep. Sucked each other off a few times.
Yep. I know Joey from
Great.
the,
Yeah, we knew each other before. We were just faking.
I know,
Hey,
Joey.
nice to
you
meet
and I
you.
both know the real name of the poo
From
man.
the bathroom.
Fucking poo man. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah, Jake
That was-
Steen. Yeah,
Yep.
Jake Stein or
Yeah.
Jake Steen.
And then it was inherited by fucking another bloke in my year called named Cade.
Anyway, I've always digressed your stories tonight. I'm sorry.
So no, I fucking love it. So I got so in April and May when I started dipping from the Twitch, I got a bit I had a client that was really tested me, and when I say tested me, it tested my ability to I thought I was burning out. I was burning out. No, not thought. I'm going to be honest. I was burning out because this boy, he was 17, had a whole bunch of stuff going on. There was a bit questionable. There was a bit of questionable stuff, and we theorized the mum was proxying him to get money, which is not a good. So, have you ever heard the story of that girl who was not
Yes.
sick and she was in the wheelchair?
Mun-
and she was
Munchausen. Is it Munchausen syndrome?
Munchausen's by proxy.
By proxy,
I've
yeah.
seen that.
You seen it firsthand? That's sick. They actually think. But do they actually think? Can you fake that though? How do they know?
This,
Can they test you for it?
Joey, this shit nearly burned me out, right?
Yeah.
Because when you do therapy theory, because it's all evidence based, everything.
Can we explain first what it is so people that are listening don't?
Yeah. Do you want me to explain?
You definitely.
So Munchausen's by proxy is basically a phenomenon where a significant other or a family member will proxy another person in their family or someone else. You can proxy anyone.
Proxy
Well,
being like
Proxy then means use them basically
To get shit.
to get money or to
Okay.
get something in return.
Yeah.
But some people with Munchausen's, some people do it unconsciously. Some people do it in a way where it's like, I think I'm doing the right thing, but they're capitalizing on it, or they do it intentionally. Right?
yeah.
to get funds, money, status, whatever.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at war, you could even argue that the whole Israel-Iran shit's proxy from communism, capitalist countries. You know,
Yeah.
it's proxy wars.
Yeah.
So it's very similar.
Yeah.
With Munchausen's, it's very dangerous because you're dealing with the client who's the client, but you kind of, it gets real grey area real quick. And one of the harder things was for me as a clinician was, you know, I was seeing this boy and he had some of the most severe mental health disability diagnoses I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And some of it, you know, I noticed was being immensely enabled by the parent. And very scarily when I tried to introduce therapy and theory into it, like about, you know, how to navigate this boy was having apparently suicidal ideation 24/7. He couldn't sleep, all this other stuff. And it was getting scary. Like, and I tried to do suicide assessments on him, but I wasn't allowed access to him. And that's when I told my, because I'd never identified, bro, I'd never heard of Munchausen's by proxy until this, right? Because I talked to my supervisor about it, who is a La Trobe University lecturer and teacher, highly educated woman. She went, Callum, you're dealing with Munchausen's by proxy. You've got to be so fucking careful. Cease with the client.
So is she faking that her son's sick?
Look,
or mentally?
It was identified for me that I was dealing potentially with a case of Munchausen's by proxy.
Because you didn't get access to this kid, so you weren't seeing him face to face.
At the start, I was seeing him face to face, but it got to a point where his mental health was deteriorating.
Yeah, okay.
Right? But unconfirmed, because I went to this house, right, and I tried to see him, and I wasn't allowed to see him. You know, he's not in the right headspace, rah. And I was like, okay, what am I doing here then? You know, obviously he can cancel stuff like that, but you know, if you're telling me he's going to potentially jump off the roof or some shit, you know. I have to direct you to do X, Y, and Z. So I had to give her a whole bunch of directions to call 000, and then she was like, "No, I'm not going to do that because it's very full on." Anyway, to cut the story short, basically, because I go on about this for ages, that really burnt me out because you know I tried so hard, you know, and it just like stopped, you know, and the aftermath of it all when I ceased, because I was told to cease by my supervisor, and my in-house supervisor said the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, no, it's too sketchy." And he basically pulled me out. And when that happened, a whole bunch of emails started, you know, coming up with, you know, the person who was the carer wasn't very happy with the cease, and that, you know, I needed to hand over to the other clinical psychologist who I didn't even know who the person was, man. I didn't get a number. I didn't get an email, nothing. No meetings, no MDTs. It was very fucked, basically. I think from a clinical perspective, it was very all over the place. It was very unorganized and just very sketchy. And for me, I saw it as like a, you know, I kind of was already feeling like I fucked up in Twitch, you know, trying to do X, Y, and Z projects. And then in my actual job, it was getting so full on. I kind of got a bit depressed because I was burning out. And to come back to the church stuff, like I was talking to my mum about it. And I said, I don't know what to do. Like I'm feeling a bit shit. And she was like, well, you know, have a think about it and just whatever comes to mind, you know, give it a go. And I've always wanted to go back to go in the church a bit more frequently. So, you know what? I had a push basically, right? I'm not going to say it was Jesus. I'm not going to say it's anything like that. I believe may have potentially been that. But I went to Mass for the first time in 3 or 2 years. I haven't been to Mass for a very long time. And since then, I've been going nearly weekly. And it is a big part of my routine. And it supports the shit out of me. And it gives me hope because, you know,
I love that shit, bro.
Oh, bro. Reading the scripture as well, like, really helps, you know. Like, one of my favorite passages now is from Romans, and it's like, you know, I knew all you were, all that you are, and all that you will be. I brought you here anyway. You will never be abandoned. And that was the one that really pushed me to keep doing my job. I'm not on my own. God's got my back. And if it is to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, and it's better than sitting around going, this is it for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I've always loved religion. Believe it or not, like we've said it a million times, if you're a faithful person or not, you can't say that it doesn't do good. There's radicals everywhere. Religion 100%. Or anything, just the demographic, a club, a group of some sort. There's maniacs everywhere.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But that aside, the whole concept of religion everywhere, we've talked about it heaps, is just the faith is enough.
Yeah.
And if it's real, then I hope it's real. Because if you live your life like how you should live by every religion existing today, then yeah, it's a good thing.
And something I've realized too, you know, I'm not a good Catholic, right? I'm not a good Catholic but I'm a Catholic and I believe in
Why?
Jesus
Because you had
Christ.
sex before marriage?
Well, I've done many things. We're sinners in you know.
You're a
if you
pretty
really-
good bloke. Like, what have you
No,
done?
but-
Get
but
drunk a little bit?
What I'm
Have-
trying to say is like, you know, what is a good Christian? You know,
someone that doesn't do wrong, someone that makes people feel good. Some people,
But if you look at scripture and you look at like the theology of it all, because I've been getting really into Christian theology, which is something I'd love to talk to you about and like maybe study with you if you ever wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
is it a date?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
All of
Study
us together.
something.
Like,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Bible study.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, like, you know, we're all fallen beings. We live in a fallen
Yeah.
world. You know, we're going to make mistakes. And I think it's just, you know, the most Christian thing you can do is acknowledge the fact that you made a mistake and move forward. But that's just the most human thing you can do as well.
I like that
Yeah.
everything when you talk about the scriptures and the actual like the actual writings
It's
and
deep.
everything, it's all spiritual. It's all the same shit. They all say the same shit. And that quote
Yeah.
you said, I know what you are, I know what you will be, I brought you here anyway. That's like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That's like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're
Trials,
all-
tribulations.
Trials and tribulations. We're all on this
100%.
path to learn and grow, you know, and it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, you can be forgiven.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of, you know, forgiveness. And so the church you're going to, right, it's more like a Catholic church. So is it just a dude standing, you're in the seats in the bench rows and
Yeah, so it's your
just you
regular
listening?
Roman Catholic
'Cause
mass.
the only church I've been to was Hillsong once. I went to Hillsong
Yeah.
with my churchy mate, and that was
Oh, that's
very
the that's a groovy ones,
Right.
right? Like the
I started.
American
I
Christian.
cried. I started crying.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
the weirdest experience ever, but it was powerful, man.
Had
Like,
great energy,
super
man.
powerful.
I've been, so I used to work at 180 TC, which is a Christian rehab, and they used to do, then the Hillsong Church supports them, right? So I've been to Hillsong Church before and I've been to chapel before with them. It was really amazing experience, and that's what they started me kind of semi going back into there, because like in AOD work, and there's evidence to prove this as well, one of the biggest things that pushes people back into rehabilitation is religious intervention. You know, that's why you got Christian rehabs. That's why, you know, one of the 4 pillars of Islam is help the poor, you know, show charity. Same in Hinduism. The Jews do the same thing, you know?
It's all the same, man.
Yeah.
Did I have a booger this whole podcast and no one said anything?
Oh, I didn't notice.
Nah, I did not notice.
Okay, sweet.
No,
I felt something crusty in the nostril, and I'm like,
Imagine
don't tell me you guys
like hanging out.
Well, I was just thinking like, there's more respect in a friend if you go,
If you tell them, yeah.
hey, bro, listen, like, if you have a pimple on your face, you can't help it. I'm not going to be like, bro, that's disgusting. Right?
Yeah.
But if you have a bit booger, I'm just going to be like, not in front of everyone, I won't out you, but I'll be like,
fuck, have I got a booger?
hey, everyone! Hey, bro, just clean it up, right? Yeah, but like, some people don't feel. I'd tell a stranger that. I would tell a stranger that.
If it's something they can help
courtesy.
instantly,
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
But then I've been talking to people at work, right? And then I have a big chunk of sleep in my beard. And then I'm like, you're telling me they didn't be like, guy, just clean it up. Anyway.
Bro, the other day I came home from work and I look in a mirror or something and I had a food stuck in my teeth and it was something I ate ages ago. And I'm like, was I seriously at work all day with fucking, no one said anything? Come on, bro.
You see, there's one guy talking, he's like,
That's why they were laughing.
but yeah, what was it? Yeah, but
Community corner.
one more thing about the only time I have got not emotional, but like felt like holy shit was in Barcelona at the Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
Remember we went to the big church?
The church, yeah.
Bro, that you go in there and like the outside is literally the way to the cross, right? Every station of the cross.
Yeah.
But everywhere has got, and then it's got Judas, right? And behind Judas, and they're shaking hands, a little snake is off to the back of Judas. And you're like, oh shit. And then he gets, whipped and stuff. He's bringing that, and then he drops for the first time. They get everything, bro. Like everything.
Stations the cross is amazing.
Yeah, and then you see the death, the crucifixion of him, and then above, on top of the Sagrada Familia, all the way at the top, you see a little sculpture sitting off the edge, like me on my seat, looking down, like, and it's Jesus, but risen above,
That's
like,
so
as
cool.
in transcendent.
That's so
and
cool.
apparently, it's taken since.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
over
hundreds of
200
years.
years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But because I think they're trying to evade as well tax.
Yeah,
I said tax
And
evasion
they
and
get
shit,
paid a lot, so like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
really expensive, but so many
It's
people in
finally
there.
going to be finished soon, I heard. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
almost
reckon.
done.
But then
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, we got one more.
Yeah,
We got one more coat to
upgrade,
paint."
yeah.
Because the tax man's finally gone, if you don't finish the shit, we're knocking it down.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, there's a mosquito
But that-
in here
but-
chopping me up, man.
but
We're
when-
going to kill this bastard.
When I went
the
in there,
window's open.
I'm
though,
getting itchy.
Is that window open?
yeah, the window is
it's
open.
got a wait. Is that fully open?
Yeah, it's fully open, yeah.
You live on the edge, brother.
Dude, I told you, when Elon Musk's Starlink fell off the fucking thing, it ripped off the fucking...
Did it really?
Yeah, it ripped off the fucking...
You getting chopped up or what?
Nah.
This thing's fucking biting me.
This is just one Mozzie just attacking.
I saw it before.
But anyway, when I walked into this church, they put these audio players, the earpieces in your head, and you go around and just the way the colors, they have the colored window panes. They've structured that so sorry, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's a big
Bro,
bitch.
hey, that's two. That's two.
Look at the blood.
Hey.
That's your blood count.
That's the blood.
Oh, it's Dylan's blood. Let's
give it back.
Let's taste it. Let's taste it. It's Dylan's.
Next week you got AIDS.
HIV positive.
The other episode, you're getting chased by a moth, and now you're the mosquito hunter.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Bro, fuck it. At Elton Chong's, is it true some fucker had a fucking noodle?
A needle.
Apparently,
needle,
yeah.
I didn't see nothing.
I heard that. I don't know if it's fucking
Tori,
true.
my missus, Tori said she's seen it, and I think
Yeah.
if she sees something, that bitch is the most observant motherfucker. She'll see if someone takes 2 shits rather than 1 shit. You know what I mean? She'll see everything. So I believe there was. I didn't see her though.
I didn't see it, but I'm not gonna lie. Towards the end, man, there was some questionable things like this. Which is like, turning her head off. I was like, what the fuck?
She's like,
I'm
yeah, TJM, let's
yeah,
go.
I'm like,
Oh,
quite
bro.
clearly they've made profit. They're all fucking having a mad
Yeah.
time. I'm like, fucking throw something these ways, bro. Like, fucking.
But those fucking stained glass windows, the stained glass windows, man. The way they've structured it is that church is like the sun rises there, so then there's like this red stained glass, so then it comes in on a certain part of the
it's very
church.
beautiful,
Then
isn't
when the sun goes there, it's just almost brought me to friggin' like that goosebumps, that goose pimples feeling. I was just like, man, this is like, because over in other countries, they really dedicate like their buildings in general. You can tell you're in Europe. If someone just sent
Europe
you a
is like
picture,
that,
you can probably be like Europe.
Yeah.
You don't know where, but
Yeah.
Europe. The churches there, man.
Yeah, man. Like insane.
In the Sydney CBD, we have some nice churches, classical. You know, those little castle like Rapunzel is up there at the top of but over there, man, it's a different
It's
story.
a whole
So
different
that's probably my
ball game.
only thing where I've really felt like, man, religion. You know what I mean?
And it's
But-
interesting too because like music's a big part of Christianity, and I think the whole Abrahamic religions in general, and probably religion in general. And it's interesting. Have you ever read Revelations?
Never.
So Revelations talks about how so the fallen angel Lucifer, who now is known as the enemy Satan. I won't go into this. This is a fucking massive story.
Holy shit.
But he was a cherubim. So he had trumpets, and he was all about music. So that's why, because I was going to get into this in the music industry. It's why a lot of them get called
I've
out
heard
for
that before.
Satanism because
Jay-Z, shout out to Jay-Z.
yeah. It's very interesting. Revelations is one of the most interesting books ever.
Mark of the Beast and all
Yep,
that
talks
shit.
about Archangel
you-
Michael. And do you know as well, because these are Star Wars fans, right? So you know when Obi-Wan fights Anakin, right? You know that's based off Revelations?
No.
So Anakin's meant to represent the fallen Archangel Lucifer, and
Yeah.
Obi-Wan represents Archangel Michael. Hence why,
He's got the high ground.
yeah, he got the high ground. So and the way George Lucas did it, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool. Like a double entendre kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
another hidden meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
That's the whole of Star Wars sometimes. Then Lord of
yeah.
the Rings.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah.
oath.
Lord of the Rings. man.
We got
All right,
some
boys.
You're reading the
questions.
Tolkien books, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got.
Hey, sorry, we're just
Can we
going
talk
off on
about
a
that?
tangent. No, we're going on the tangent. I'm doing the Audible books right now.
I think that's great.
So I can't read, but in the car and the podcast at work, I've got through 8 hours. I've got 13 to go on the last book, and I watched the movie right after I read the book, and then I've also just finished Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power.
Apparently, season 2 is nuts.
Yeah.
I need to
you haven't
watch
seen
it.
it?
I haven't
I'm
seen
telling
it.
you,
Don't
man.
say anything.
Oh, no.
I need to watch it.
Hey, ready?
Apparently, it's nuts. Yeah. Apparently, it's nuts.
And it was the second last episode that you're like,
Yeah.
and then that's what they do, these bastards.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
make the climax and, and then they make you hungry for, but then they leave it at the cliffhanger, and then they go, jokes, wait 2 years. And then you're like,
Yeah.
so,
That's
but everything, it's the weight, it's just, I can't believe it. I'm such a nerd. I call my mate, who's also a nerd at Lord of the Rings. I'm not really much of a nerd for Star Wars. I watch Star Wars, but when it comes to Lord of the Rings, bro, I'm just like all over that shit. Like the
Lord of
whole
the Rings.
Tolkien,
Tolkien is fucking amazing.
He's one of the only ones or first ones that created an actual world.
Yeah.
Of like Morgoth, that was then Mordor, and then you got the orcs, you got the elves, and the Uruk-hai orc, the normal orc, the goblins, the Balrog,
His world buildings,
the
man. Balrogs
bro.
are sick, dude. I love them.
Yeah.
Because they're fallen angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Balrog, yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah, you're the
so
third, you're
that
the
could be
third
a whole.
person that's fucking told me
I
to.
swear that could be another pod. I'd love to have you on to be
Yeah.
like nerd out on shit.
Let's do it, bro. I fucking love
Yeah.
Tolkien. I love Lord of the Rings. I've been playing. I was telling Iggy before, playing Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Right? Elden Ring was made by the dude who did Game of Thrones, but it just gives me fucking Lord of the Rings vibes.
Aragorn vibes or
Oh,
Isildur
100%.
vibes
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something?
definitely. Because you traverse and there's weird monsters, weird kings, and you're this tarnished warrior trying to fuck it all up. Like it's intriguing.
Fucking earth.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, so we're going to go to a community corner. We don't have anything on Discord, but we've got a couple of speak pipes. So let's munch through these. We got one from the commie.
Is Jezza actually a communist, by the way?
Yeah, he actually
He
is
is.
a communist from
So
Russia.
he believes in socialism.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
He is.
Yeah,
He does.
Okay.
He does. He's literally from Russia.
Yeah, I know there's a lisp. I don't care. What's going on, boys? It's the commie. So, drunken stories, I feel like this is where I will come in absolute clutch.
Yeah.
So, I'll leave you with a kind of fucking tame one. Scary place I've woken up. I was in a bender in the Gold Coast, and we met the boys. We all met this girl, and she's like, "Yeah, we'll go back. We'll have a couple drinks at mine." So we all went back and had a few drinks. My mate's done his job, you know. I've decided to sit out and had a few ciggies and shit.
He definitely washed.
I was absolutely plastered, and I've passed out. Don't remember how I passed out, but the scariest thing about the pass out is I've woken up on the 24th floor of the Novotel, hanging off the fucking balcony, like gut over the fucking balustrade. Kind of fucking terrifying to wake up from a pass out and almost dying.
What
So,
the fuck?
yeah, I've got more where that come from. I might share a bit more later.
So he fell asleep hanging over the railing.
Bro, I've partied with Jez before, right? Because we went to school together.
Yeah.
And one of my best mates is one of his best mates, right? We've just been together basically since I was 18 years old. This motherfucker is the pull-up OG. He's the tax spew OG. That man will do what he needs to do to keep going. He's the Bender King, right?
Erin Alte is fucking the tax.
She's
Bro.
known for that. Yeah.
Fucking, well, one time we were out, and I hope he remembers this. We were out and we were in the city, and we were fucking at Pontoon first, and then we went to Sidebar, and then went to Pyrmont Bridge Hotel. I got kicked out because I fell down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
And I woke up the next day, and Jez is fucking passed out, mummified on the fucking lounge. And I said, "Bro, what happened?" He's like, "We only just got back. You've been vomiting on the fucking balcony." Fucking old mate's doing his shit with some chick he pulled. Bro, we're fucked. And I was like,
We're fucked. We're literally, we are fucked. Oh, that's
yeah,
fucking
this is
crack
funny.
up. Imagine that he wakes up and he's holding on to the rail. He's full dangling. We've got one called Diego Fortlan.
Diego Fortlan, what the hell?
What's up, cunts? I'm a bit late to the mark, but got a good drunk story. It's not me, but it's someone. It's one of my clients. So I'm an insurance broker, and one Monday morning I got a call from one of my clients, and he was saying, "Hey mate, do you guys insure limos?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can sort that. Like, what's the situation? You're starting a business, limo business, are you?" And he goes, "Nah." And he starts laughing. And he was telling me that whenever he gets drunk, he's got this bad habit of going on auctioneer websites and just browsing. But anyway, this one Saturday, him and his mate were getting pissed drunk in their garage. And they found this limo for sale. It was about like 35 grand, something like that. Oh. And at like 3 a.m, they thought it was a good idea to put a bid on it. Anyway, they ended up winning. And then the next day he woke up, didn't really remember anything. But he got this call from the auctioneer place, saying, "Oh, when are you going to pick up your limo? It's in Queensland, this, that, and the other." But by then, he's bought it. And that's it. It's his. He can't back out. So this cunt fucking woke up in the morning with a brand new limo, not even having any plans on what to do. He had to go drive all the way to Queensland to get this fucking thing. I was like, what a funny cunt.
Imagine pulling up. Imagine returning home in the limo.
Going to work. And how do you park the
as soon
cunt?
as he said he's a fucking auctioneer when he's drunk, I'm like, this is going to be the stupidest story.
Don't you need a special license or something, driver?
You have to wear the suit. You have to wear the full limo suit if you're going to rock up. Imagine going to the gym, doing anything. Rocking out a family dinner, you take up the whole driveway.
That's funny as fuck, bro. What a funny cunt. At least you could get your mates everywhere. Just waiting
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Party bus.
Imagine just going to the gym and you get out and
In a limo.
the limo guy rocks up
yeah.
and he gets out and he's in his gym clothes now. But he gets out of his limo. It's like,
That's fucking funny.
That's a good business idea, though. Now you got the limo.
Limos are very
you know,
overrated, though. It's like it's just an elongated car, right?
Yeah.
It's cool. It gives me like year 6 formal vibes. Which, by the way, when I was in year 6, I was limo. I was like, it's like, you can have whatever you like.
Like, your mum paid for it. Gay speak pipe crown wearing king shaman.
Nice.
The contender
nice ring to it.
returns. So if Megalodon missed this week, he's out of the running.
The gay shaman Raz.
Gay
is
shaman
a winner.
it might be in the bottom drawer. Good idea, dude. That's what we're needing right now.
Looking for the vape. What are you looking for?
I told Tori we'll land in bed. Sorry, we'll go back. I was laying in bed and I was like, okay, you have the first one. I was like, okay, that's it. I was in bed. I was like, listen, if I ask you for your vape, because we only rely on her vape, but say no. No matter how hard I ask, just tell me no, and she will. And a few times I've gone unnoticed. She wasn't looking. I was like, and I went, and she's sitting across from me. And she comes, no, hey, you said no. And I'm like, and tonight before I came to the pod, I was like, she's like, you said no, and I'm like, I did say no. I did say no.
Now that she's not
but
here.
it's good though. It's good. I know that I shouldn't need that. Like a slap at the wrist, but I swear I've been getting better. This is the first.
And you're holding
night.
one in your ear.
No, but it is better.
Yeah,
because I've only been
It is
having I won't pump it on this pod.
Gay shaman Raz returns for his crown.
Gay shaman Raz back up in your motherfucking ears, bitches.
Fuck yeah.
I'm taking the crown here. You other boys seem like sick cunts, but come on. I'm taking it. I'm wearing that crown. All right, glitches in the Matrix. DZ reminded me of something like from when I used to work in fast food at Red Rooster when I was 17. So me and my buddy Chap got a bunch of weed leaf, and we decided that we were going to make a big old cake. Not knowing at the time, being 17, that you're only meant to eat a little bit. So we made a full cake. We halved it, ate half the cake each.
Oh, wow.
My eyes were redder than the devil's motherfucking dick. I went to work at Red Rooster, and same kind of thing happened. My legs were that heavy that I could make one order at a time before I had to go sit out back and take a break. Luckily, my manager used to be a big stoner, and she was a sick cunt, so she kind of took over for me. But yeah, I thought I'd been working for like 20 minutes, and by the time I knew it, my dad was calling me out the front, being like, hey, I'm here to pick you up, and I've done 20 minutes overtime. Guess not really a glitch in the Matrix, more so that I was just stoned to fucking gills, but
It would have felt like a glitch in the Matrix. So you're just like, this is the glitch.
Man, that is funny as fuck. You got to be careful, man, because I remember the very first time I ever ate edibles, bro.
It's different.
Man, I
It's
remember.
different.
So me and one of my best mates back in the day, right? His older brother. So it was like a Saturday night, and this was one of the rare times where we had nothing on, right? So as always, we're at my grandma's. So my grandma's house was the meeting point. Even if there was nothing to do, everyone would come to my grandma's house for some weird reason. So it was me and my fucking best mate there, and his older brother rings us at like 7 p.m. on a Saturday night. He goes, "Hey man, like I've got this fucking weed cake. Like I don't want it. Do you want it?" We're like, "Yeah, fuck it, we'll take it." And he goes, "All right, whatever you do, don't eat the whole thing and don't drive anywhere. If you're gonna kick back at Iggy's grandma's, I'll give you the cake." And then we're like, yeah, fuck it. We'll just kick back, right? I go pick it up. I'm on my red peas, right? We go pick up this fucking cake. And my mate looks at me and goes, "Do you want to just fucking chop in?" I'm like, yeah, fuck it. We start eating this fucking thing, right? We go to the McDonald's in St. Clair parking lot, park there. We ate the whole thing, bro. Ate the whole thing, right? Boom. I woke up Sunday morning in the car park.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Me and this kind of like, and I'm
So you didn't even make it home.
Swear on
Do you
mum-
remember, like, you obviously
No.
remember the...
I don't remember
It
shit.
just hit you?
It just, bro, we
Wow.
ate it.
What day did you start?
Saturday night, and we woke up Sunday morning in the car park.
Fuck. And
Same spot.
can I ask you a question? So for the days after that, did you still feel a bit drained?
No, I felt terrific.
I felt great.
No, I know what you're saying. I felt that. I felt a bit groggy a few days
So
after.
with edibles,
But that
the
was my
the
first
they
time,
get-
though.
Yeah,
So-
well, with edibles, the way it gets broken down in your liver is different from when you smoke it. So it takes
Yeah.
longer for it to get out of your system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And plus you get like a second high as well. Sometimes.
I've had edibles where I've been an hour in, and then I've been an hour and a half in, and I'm still not feeling nothing because I'll
Yeah.
usually eat it on a full stomach.
Yeah.
And then I go, you forget you had it because usually the act of smoking, you remember I smoked, right?
Yeah.
When you just eat a bit of cake, you kind of forget. And then you all of a sudden just be like, okay, 2 hours, you're like, oh, damn, okay, this is probably the highest I'll ever get. Then 4 hours in, you're like,
it keeps going.
Let's say Super Mario, but instead of getting on the mushrooms and shit, you just got leveling up always. You know what I mean? And then 5 hours in, you're like, it's still not done. It's still going. I'm still here,
Going
bitch.
up, bro. Yeah.
It's like that.
One time, me and my homie, we had cookies and we were sitting in his spa. Yeah. Fuck, it was the best. Bro, it was the best. It was fucking awesome.
That'd be mad, the spa.
Just high as
That's probably the best. That's probably the best
Oh.
combination.
I love the spa, man. Any spa, and then you just throw a little bit of weed in there. Fucking hell.
Gaius Shaman sends another one.
The other thing that sparked my memory as well was when you were talking about having memories from being young. So the youngest memory I have is probably from being about 3 years old, roughly. I remember it clear as day because it's one of the most fucking retarded things in the entire world. I remember being at my auntie's house. My old man was like holding me in his arms. And I remember clearly thinking in my head, I wonder if I just bit onto his chin, if I could just dangle there and he'd be able to hold me up. So absolutely out of nowhere, while he's mid-conversation with someone else, I just bite onto his chin. He goes, fuck, and drops me on the ground. I just got up and sprinted outside and ran and hid and then just cried my eyes out. No idea why my shitty little 3-year-old brain thought that I could bite my dad's chin and hang off it. But apparently that wasn't a good idea. And it doesn't work.
What?
Bro,
Peace, boys.
do you know how
There's no
funny?
way.
Do you know how funny baby emotion regulation is? So like, they don't know how to regulate nothing, right? And he's just got this thought in his head. Whereas an adult, if you get a thought like that, you know not to act on it. You're a fucking adult, right? But it's just funny watching all play out so blatantly. The act, boom, the realizing they fucked up, and the running away of like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so funny.
It's like the intrusive thoughts, but they just do it. My daughter's hilarious, bro. She's so fucking funny, bro. It's the best. That age, like the 2, 3
How
year
old?
old.
2, 3, yeah.
She's about to be 3. Oh, fuck.
She is a funny
she's
kid,
so
bro.
Funny,
The fucking the videos of fucking Rose put up of the fucking, she's trying to feed the magpie, and the magpie's like running across the road, and she's throwing like biscuits at it and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, dude, that's
so funny,
that's
bro.
funny. We got one from Anonymous.
Tinfoil hat on, lisp turned up. The commie is getting real communistic right now.
See, I told ya.
Let's go. Conspiracy time. Boys, this P. Diddy fucking bullshit. I'm getting real Joey in this situation right now. I'm getting really fucking deep. You know me. I disprove conspiracies all the time. But the connections here, it's what scares the fuck out of me. I don't get why... I mean, I see everyone fucking thanking Beyonce and shit, and Kanye doing the Save Taylor Swift and stuff.
That's bullshit. I don't really
First of all, let's be honest. Beyonce's a fucking terrible artist, so I hope she kills me for that. But the reason that I want to connect it back to something else this year, do you reckon J. Cole sat out of the beef battle because Drake was involved? Because the reason I feel like J. Cole might have sat out, because that song, you know, like the She Knows, and they
And I
point out
know
all the
she
lyrics, and
knows.
she's pointing out all the people that have died because of Beyonce. I don't know. I feel like I'm spinning shit right now. But tell me what your thoughts are on that. I keep thinking of shit, of why, like, how things can connect. I feel like that's maybe why J. Cole sat out, because he's like, fuck this, man. This is going to get deep. Shit's going down. I don't want to be involved with any sort of pedophilia. Tell me your thoughts. And up the fuck.
You know what I've noticed with Jezza? That there's going to be a time where people like you, Jezza, who are very straight edge and very believe the media and everything, these days keep coming where you're going to realize
Slowly
we're
start-
right.
Yeah.
We're right about everything. All the
Yeah.
conspiracies are fucking true. Jezza's done that a couple times. He's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I actually think you might be right. It's going to keep happening, bro.
I think with the J. Cole thing, Schoolboy Q, it came out that Schoolboy Q actually warned J. Cole.
They do
I
just
don't know
step
how
that way,
much
yeah.
he said. I doubt he just went, hey, step down. I'm sure he went, hey, step down. Some shit with Drake's about to come out. Or he just straight went, he likes kids. Or whatever. But apparently he did say something to him. I don't think that J. Cole has... I mean, everyone's got skeletons in the closet, but I'd like to think that J. Cole, yeah, he might have been unfaithful maybe to a partner or what. But in terms of that crazy shit, like Diddy shit,
Yeah.
I don't think he's involved. I just think he went. If he's going down, how bad would it look if J. Cole was next to him on stage,
Yeah.
or in his corner? So, yeah, I don't know, man. And that P Diddy shit. I know this is supposed to be from the news corner, but can we vibe right now? Can we get down to this now?
I was going to say, say
We might as
something,
well,
bro,
man.
because I've got so much shit
Yeah?
in the news corner for this shit.
Okay,
but-
we won't touch on it now. We'll wait for it.
yeah,
right?
I reckon we'll wait. Because
But
that's
Jezza,
the elephant
yeah.
in the room.
Okay, that is the
That's-
big black elephant.
Yep.
The big black elephant. Hey, it's not racist. It's just
He is black.
he could have been German. I would have
Yeah.
said
The big German
Nazi
elephant.
German. Nah, joke.
Then we've got one more. The last one says my memory.
What up, boys? Filling up the speak pipe this week.
Oh yeah, Commie's trying to take the crown. What the hell's going on here? So Raz is the champ right now. He hasn't missed a beat in like fucking a month and a half now.
Yeah.
Commie's trying to fucking come in now. Like Commie was first, and now he's gone back to like 5th place. He's now slowly overtaken Meg, slowly overtaken
Yep.
Zexa, and he's like gunning.
It's like a WWE ladder match. You know when they're trying to climb the ladder on either side?
He's gunning for this.
Listening to the pod, and you're talking about earliest memory being 2 years old, and you're calling it cap. My earliest memory is 2 years old. There's about 3 years between the next memory, but the earliest memory is 2 years old.
do you
and
know
also,
that?
I've had this memory fact checked with my old man and family that were there.
Okay.
But yeah, so my old man back in the day used to work for Coca-Cola, used to look after accounts and shit like that. And he used to get hectic tickets to sports and shit. And he got us tickets to the hockey in the Olympics in 2000. And I remember being on my dad's shoulders, little blonde, like bleach blonde hair, Jez, and walking into the hockey field. And the cool story about this as well is that Japanese TV actually filmed me and Dad because, you know, it's the stereotypical white family in Australia going to the hockey game. So I
royalty?
actually made Japanese television, and that's my earliest memory. Probably can call it cap, but yous are stupid, so fuck yous.
You know, actually, I thought about this a little bit more, and I do have some pretty early memory. I remember now, Mum also mentioned this. She used to make me milk, right? I used to drink strawberry milk, and I would only drink it if I could see the pink ring at the bottom, like that the flavor's been like that's very full of flavor. So I'd always look, and I remember stuff like that, and I remember that house quite like a few things. So I would have been about maybe 2 or 3 around there. So yeah, I guess you can remember.
You're all capping.
The only thing I remember is because it was like kind of traumatic, but I was too young that I couldn't swim. But I almost drowned in a next door neighbor's pool because my older sister Catherine, pushed me being a little shit. She ran inside, and then
she left you there.
Yeah, but I don't know if she. I mean, I don't know if she knew I couldn't swim. I'd like to think she did. I'd like to think she didn't know, but she literally did boom and then ran.
Wow.
And then Kelly, which was the person's house we were at, the family friend, their daughter, who was like teenager. I remember seeing the water. You know, when you're underwater, you see someone stands above it, and you see their silhouette going,
Holy shit.
And then she just jumps in after me, but I wasn't in there for long. Like, I'm not going to make it sound like it was like in the movies where they're down there for minutes. And then you're like, oh, is he going to survive? And you see that. It was literally like, all I remember is that. But I think the only reason I remember was because it was a bit traumatic.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't remember important shit. Do you?
I think with memory, so kids, so the theory of memory, and this is the thing about the brain as well, like the brain has certain parts to it that does X, Y, and Z, but for children below the age of 3, I could be wrong here because that's not in front of me, the studies and shit, but the prefrontal cortex is nowhere near at the point where you can, you know, have thoughts where you can preconceive. It's no critical thinking's happening with kids. They're more in the reptile brain, right? Because the way the brain works is, so the back of it is where you have your fight or flight, emotional
Thank
responses.
you very
and you go
much.
up, right? Hey,
I've
okay.
mentioned, did I not mention this with the trading and shit? Thank
but
you.
no one
See?
disagreed with that. What are you talking?
Nah, no, there's someone out there. I just want
That's just how it is.
I
I
fucking
just-
felt it. He knows.
Yes.
But yeah,
it's
so
good to get it validated.
Yes.
Yeah.
the way your brain works, this is why anxiety is so debilitating, because it, you know, when you don't breathe properly, there's no oxygenized blood going to the front of your brain, because the front of your brain is the furthest away from the spine, right? And from your vascular system, you know, it goes up here first, right? So all the energy is going to the back first. Hence why when you have fight or flight responses, when you have trauma responses, you're more likely to remember those because they stay in this part, and your memory capacity is so small, but it will remember okay, how can I as a baby, comes back to this evolutionary psychology, how can I as a baby survive just in case my dad or mum get compromised for the longest amount of time possible? So so kids remember trauma, especially physical trauma. Like
So that's why I remember you drowned, yeah.
But also as well, interestingly enough, you talked about you knew as a baby when it was a certain type of color, it was a certain type of flavor. I would argue that's also a survival instinctual thing that you could remember, because as a baby you could, to the best of your ability, I guess, try and figure out how to work your mum enough to get it to that point with the bottle or whatever it was. So,
I was 14 though.
14 years old.
No, I'm joking. I might have been like 3. I don't know how young I was.
Motherfucker, this was last week, man. At fucking family.
Interesting about what you were just saying.
I was able to distinguish what chocolate milk looked like and tastes like.
Yeah.
So now I make sure Rose does it the same for me still.
Fuck it.
But my daughter, just today, Rose was telling me today, they were outside and there was a big Rottweiler, a loose one, across the road. And as soon as it saw them, it started running towards them. And obviously, she didn't know if it was good or bad, right? So she took my daughter inside, and then she was like, let's go inside. And then she didn't want to go inside. She's like, no. And she stood there. So Rose had to pick her up and bring her inside. And then
she wanted to pat the dog?
She was having the biggest tantrum
One of the
for
hardest
ages.
things. So when I work with
I don't know what she wanted to do, but she didn't want to go inside. She loves being outside. She never wants to go inside.
That's mad.
But
we had to bring her in, and then she was having a tantrum for so long she didn't understand that the dog was possibly dangerous. So Rose had
kids
to act
don't
quick.
have risk assessment abilities. That's why kids co-regulate. When they hit a certain point, right, which this is debatable. I worked with pediatrics for only a year, so I'm still learning as well. But from that 5 to like 8 year, that's when they start to learn to regulate. But it's still a slippery slope. You throw autism or ADHD in the fucking into the mix, it gets even harder. But the kids co-regulate. They need their parent to validate their emotions. They need their parent to say, "Hey, this is a risky situation.
Yeah.
Don't do this, don't do that," because they don't know. You're a clean slate when you come to this world, right? And the way the brain works is, they're starting to develop the prefrontal cortex. They're starting to have ideas. They're starting to do all this stuff. If you introduce a child into a traumatic environment, it's why DV and neglect and abuse is so, especially me as a clinician, if I report neglect, abuse, and they're a certain age, the DCJ come flying in because they know psychologically that's going to fuck that kid up. They're not going to be a part of the economy, and that's going to be very difficult. So they try to intervene quickly to the better, the lesser evil, I guess. But can I just touch something real quick? So you had a near drowned experience, right? I've also had a near drowned experience in my pool in Silverdale, right? And I also class it as like a semi kind of spiritual experience, right? So what happened to me was I jumped in the pool on my own and I had a rash shirt. So I will never wear a rash shirt again. I don't give a shit how white I am. I'll fucking burn that.
They look ridiculous as well. Unless you go on scuba diving.
Yeah. But when you were like 6, I think I was 6 or 7, right? Like you don't care, right? My mum told me to do it because we're Scottish, and
you're gonna burn.
Shit.
Bad skin.
Yeah. So I jumped in. What happened was my rash shirt got under the water and wrapped me up in the head. So my arms
Waterboarding you.
Yeah, my arms like that. So I started getting waterboarded and I was sinking in the deep end of my pool, right? And it's really fucked up.
Holy shit.
And I'll never forget this as well because I remember going, oh my God, and I started taking in water. But I remember feeling like, so my rash shirt's probably here up, right? I remember feeling that and then fucking dragged up. I got up, I just got like on the side of the step of the deep end of my pool, and the rash shirt came off me, right? It was like someone pulled it off me. And I was like, fuck. And I'm thinking instantly, my mind went, fuck, Dad's here. He fucking seen me. Thank God. No one was there. Right?
Really?
And I was like, oh no, I freaked out. I went into the room because my mum was sitting in the lounge room. And I was like, Mum, I nearly drowned. And
She didn't even know you just almost died.
No, I just jumped in there,
Yeah,
that's the hard thing, I guess, that's why they have fences and shit now. But yeah, like I remember that. Like I remember that for the rest of my life. That's why I'll never wear rash shirts. I'm fucking traumatized to wearing a rash shirt.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it happened. And
That's actually crazy.
It's
That's
fucked
like
up.
Doctor Strange's cape. It has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
It strangles.
I'm telling you, like, and I don't know, maybe because a part of me as well, before I started getting more back into the spirituality, because, when you study psychology, you have to really go clinical.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
I'm thinking in my head, did I fucking manage to just maybe get my footing and go up?
Yeah.
Right? And my brain is just gone to the next best thing, thinking my dad has come in and got me, because your dad's just security, right? So a lot of children do go to their dads when it comes to trauma.
Yeah.
That's why our roles are very important as males when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
But I don't remember getting my footing. I don't remember jack shit. I remember being, fucking 6 or 7 and probably not even standing a meter tall, well, maybe a bit more than a meter, and this deep end is fucking, 6 feet?
Yeah.
More than 6 feet. And just getting, boom, and since then...
That's crazy,
Yeah.
That's weird.
Fuck.
Shit. My earliest memory, I was 1 year old. I was riding a horse.
I remember being in the womb.
I remember being my dad's left testicle.
Have you heard of the theory
Sperm
that...
cell. I remember
Yeah.
racing the sperm.
Have you heard of the theory
I remember
that,
shooting inside my mother.
Oh my God. Damn.
Sorry.
I was there, son. I was there. I was there.
3,
But
2, 1.
There's a theory of like if you, and it's actually got some evidence behind it too, if you, a child in the womb can hear, and if you expose them to certain kind of music and literature, like normal level literature, they can retain some ability.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And some
Very
some
understudied, though.
Some babies like certain music and shit supposedly.
All right, well,
Going on to news or Reddit. Fucking hell.
Welcome to the Reddit Corner.
That's sick as, bro.
we're here, my boys.
What's up, bitches?
Woo! Another week of Reddit Corner. This week was my turn. And my choice for this week was most terrifying paranormal experiences people have experienced. Right? And so this is kind of could be similar to the whole Appalachian Mountain thing because that was a bit kind of paranormal, but that's also just a bunch of hillbillies tripping themselves out and shit. So, yeah.
I got some good ones. I'm gonna try to keep them short, man. Like,
Yeah, they're hard. The ones like these are hard because people literally send like novels. So
narratives,
you're trying to fucking. All right, so I'll do the first one. Right, let's. This is a good one, nice and simple one. Right, I was 17 at the time. I had some boy drama and I wanted to share with my older sister. And started following her. She was walking away from me down the hallway in our house. I remember her hair even being tied up in a bun, and she didn't turn around once. I followed her all the way to the garage. The door closed behind her. When I opened the door to the garage, the lights were off and my sister was nowhere in sight. I was so confused and called out to her. I dead-ass stopped in my tracks when I hear my sister calling me from the other side of the house. I still don't know who I was following to this day.
Shadow Man.
Shadow people. Was there an intruder? We just
Never know.
An intruder,
with a
yeah.
man
Just
bun.
mimicked. It's like
Yeah.
that X-Men girl, you know, the blue girl that just mimics
Yeah,
to whatever she
Mystique.
sees.
Yeah.
Mystique, yeah.
Yep.
Fucking evil, some shit, maybe.
I mean, I definitely. True. And to be honest,
Oh, that's
most of this shit would have had to have happened in some way, shape, or
capacity.
form.
All the Reddit corner so far has been true. Everything's been true.
Yeah.
Except the first one. What was the we was fucking talking shit. What was the
What
first
was
one?
the first one we did?
It was.
Prison Stories, wasn't it?
Oh, the dark. No, not the
No,
dark web. It
before
was the one before the dark web.
Because you did prison
No, we did
stories.
prison
Prison
stories,
stories.
dark web, drunk stories. You picked
I did the Matrix, and then before
which
that,
is in the Matrix.
Wasn't the Appalachian Mountains there?
Oh, it was.
that was the first
And-
one.
and so
Yeah,
the
so-
first one was the ones we all
no,
thought
because you
untrue.
had the hillbillies in the car and the dead cow on the road.
Yes,
That was a
yes.
fucking
Fuck, that's
cat,
crazy.
But when it comes to paranormal, who are we to say no, that didn't
Yeah.
happen? You know what I mean? Most
But
of them
that
are going to
shit
be true.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I fucking
definitely
have heard that
happens.
before
Yeah,
in clinic,
definitely.
in counselling.
What do you got, Joey?
So when I was a preteen, younger teenager, my family moved into a house. It started with hearing footsteps in the attic, which wasn't tall enough for anyone to walk around in. We attributed it to rats, but it made my grandmother uncomfortable enough that she made me stop visiting. We started seeing things: a woman peeking around corners, a little boy running around, and a shadow of a man at the end of the hallway. My dad's bedroom was across the hall from my brother's room, and often I slept there. Me and my two brothers were watching a movie one night when I saw a man crawling on his hands and knees into my room. I thought it was my dad, who often did things like that just to scare us and have a laugh.
What a prick.
I gave the signal that I saw him and went back to watching the movie, expecting him to grab my little brother's foot or something. He was sleeping next to me. Then he opened the door, flooding the hallway with light. There was no one there. I've never been so terrified. Bro, if someone starts crawling on their hands and knees, even if Tori starts crawling on her hands and knees with a hair over her face at night going, I'm still knowing it's her, still going,
You still
hey,
get scared.
stop. So if it's a oh my God.
Fucking my hands are up. Hands are up.
Yeah, I think that's a true.
So that could also just be trauma from the dad fucking with them so much that this motherfucker's seeing a silhouette crawling across the fucking floor.
This person says, just recently, about 2 weeks ago, I was on my way to Home Depot. When I arrive at the spotlight, After sitting there for about 15 or so seconds, the light turns green. As soon as it did, I felt like I couldn't move at all. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like if something was telling me not to go just yet. After about a second or two, this red Ford Explorer barrels through the intersection running the red at what must have been about 50 miles per hour. Ridiculously fast. The car sped through the intersection. I could move again. I don't know what that something was, but had it not been there, I would have probably not been able to tell you this little story.
Ooh.
Is 50 miles per hour quick?
That's about 80 k's.
80 k's.
Why do they do that, bro?
People in a rush, apparently.
The rest of the world...
No, but I mean, why use miles?
The rest of the world uses kilometers and shit. America, they're just the only cunts that have to be different.
Oh, you have fell off, bro. You need that.
Thank you, bro. Can't tell
That's divine intervention right there.
I think it's.
I think it's true.
I think it's true.
But when it's, when
I mean,
it's
you
not
got
your
pulled
time-
up out of your pool by nothing. So
Yeah, true.
And if you take it down,
We're not going to question that.
Yeah.
No, we're definitely saying that's
I
true.
think if you take it down like the Abrahamic religion route, even fucking some of the Eastern religions support this. I know with Abraham religions, so Judaism, Islam, and especially Christianity, you have a guardian angel appointed to you when you're born, and their job is to make sure you come as close to God as you can, and
Until the guy's smoking crack, and then they go,
Yeah.
you know what, this guy's beyond saving. Next, just fly off
the
to
devil,
the other.
right, so-
You know what I mean? At what point are you not savable? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or is it because they're not believers?
no.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I hear
some
you.
guardian angels are just like, I'm doing the
best I
like
can
The other
here,
guardian
like-
angels are like, what's wrong with your dude? I gave up 10 years ago. You know,
I think we it's oftentimes taught that we're made in the image of God. We have free will, and He gave us free will. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be in this predicament.
Exactly,
you go down Adam and Eve and shit. They're both fucked up. And I think when people are in pain, they try to find the easiest way. Like when I was doing AOD counseling, it was the exact same thing. People were using meth and heroin to get out. Even like I think you talked about Suboxone and methadone and Buvidal as well. They are a replacement, but they are not the cure. I agree with you there. I've seen people have worse reactions on those substances instead of heroin. But look,
Boxing's not a gnarly apparently.
I can talk about that heaps if you ever want to. But
we'll try it one time together.
no, never. Because when you wean off it, it's just you wean off heroin.
Yeah, no.
But I think as well, like the devil capitalizes on people's despair and what he wants, right? And again, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying what I believe and what I've studied. He can't kill you. He can't get you there. Sorry, he can't kill you. He can't hurt you. But he can get you to a point where you do it to yourself. That's why suicide is so fucking controversial, right? So what he does then is, and even the Catholic Church supports this as well, there's like demonic vexation, oppression, possession, and I can't remember the fourth one. There's 4 types of paranormal activity that are recognized by the Christian Church anyway. But the devil will get you into a point of despair. It's why, they have that passage in the Bible where even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should fear no evil. Because the aim of the devil is to get you to off yourself. Because there's no, it breaks the commandment of, I think, thou shalt not murder. Because if you murder yourself, you've murdered yourself. And this is meant to be a gift. So, and he can't kill you. He wants you dead because he's jealous of you. And he will get you to that point where you are in despair. And that's the aim of all his minions. It's the aim of his entire domain. There's always a line.
And that hooks in a little bit with the topic of being like paranormal activity and stuff. I wonder if it's like, you got to think that if there's paranormal activity, there's spirits and stuff. Is spirits and religion, are they intertwined automatically? Do they mutually, do they have to, coexist
exists.
at the same? But has it got one to do with the other? Is it like, it must be, right?
I think all religion will mention spirits,
Evil and
because there's
goodness,
higher
right?
power and these energies exist. It's all energy. The word alcohol, I think, is a Hebrew word. Comes from the Hebrew word of al-kul, which is kill the soul.
Yeah, kill soul. Yeah. He's
That's
right.
why I love you, bro.
He's right. No,
Just-
I've heard that before.
You know what I mean? Where does that just lie in your head?
I don't know.
Say it again. So al-kul, which
Yeah.
means what?
Which means kill the soul. So,
Yeah.
so when you drink, a lot of people
Lad.
say when you're drunk and stuff,
Kills your soul.
you're more vulnerable to spirits. So that's why some people are bad drinkers, because they get drunk and then they get possessed.
Bro.
And if you look, you see nothing
And
behind their eyes.
They're like,
you
when
know?
they say I'm an angry drunk, and they lash out, they do this. It's like, could be deeper.
That's why you guys will like this one then. Ready? So about 20 years ago, I went to college in a very small town. It was known for some of the best hauntings in our state. We used to go to the Haunted Bridge party and hang out. One night, I decided to be the designated driver. On our way back to campus, it was around 2 a.m. I was at a stop sign and I looked to my left and I swear I saw 3 very large grey dogs. They were walking in sync, almost military style, very well behaved. They had spiky collars and no leashes. The town wasn't known for stray animals. I asked my friends if they could see anything. They all said no. I looked again and one of the dogs looked at me and nodded and looked back. They then disappeared after 2 blocks. I firmly believe to this day that they were hellhounds on the task looking for unruly souls.
Cerberus.
The only reason I saw them was because I was sober and volunteered to get my friends back safely as a designated driver.
The devil's a fucking capitalist.
So, did you say there was 3 of them?
3 of them.
3-headed dog.
Isn't there a 3-headed dog?
Yeah,
He guards. What's his role?
He is Hades' pet. He guards the underworld.
That's right. Because Hercules, I remember the cartoon back in the day when Danny DeVito was the goat.
Yeah.
It was the little goat guy. That version. Yeah. And then you got Hades. I remember that. I remember the 3-headed dog and Hades and shit. And they're going over the canoe with the canoe in the. They're going to like Hades.
The river
dungeon.
Styx.
River Styx, yeah. The boatman.
Yeah.
But Greek literature is some of the greatest literature I've ever read in my life. And, you know, when you look at their pantheons, you look at the Roman literature and their pantheons, they're the fucking same. It's just one was a bit further from the other. And I think if you look at Christianity as well now, we use the Christian calendar, which is the Roman calendar, which is also the fucking Greek calendar.
Yep.
These, you know, if you look even at literature studies, literature, that's not the word. If you look at literature as it's gone through the millenniums and the ages and the centuries, it's all come from Greek philosophy that then turned into Roman philosophy. That's now turned into modern philosophy.
You know what? Fuck yes. False. I'll tell you why. Because there's such a connection. Because I believe that to be a connection. I think this guy's jumped on Reddit.
Yep.
He's had the same thought because he knows, he's thought about this.
Evidence
He's talked about it.
Yeah.
And then he's gone, fuck it. 3 dogs. Go fuck yourself. It's a fucking raggedy woman in some clothes. Do something. If it's something like that, this guy was too specific, bro. False.
I like that one though.
It is. No. I'm not saying it's a good one. It's a good one. But I'm just saying, you got some falses in this bitch, man.
What do you got, my friend?
Lived in a 100-plus-year-old mansion that had been divided into several apartments. My roommate and I lived on the top floor with attic access and a private entrance on the back of the house. One evening, I was watching a movie with my boyfriend when my roommate texts and says he's bringing a date home. Is it okay if we use the big TV? I say, sure. And me and my BF move to the bedroom to finish our movie. Shortly after, we heard heavy footsteps come up the back stairs, open and close, and then the very noisy and squeaky kitchen door, and hear them walk across the kitchen, past my door, down the hall. We finished watching our movie, and BF goes home. It's shortly thereafter I realize that I still am the only person home in my apartment. Call my roommate to see if he'd been home, and he said, no, we just got to Blockbuster. We're going to choose a movie and head home. Fuck, this must have been ages ago if they're at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I called my BF and told him I was spending the night at his house.
Infestation happens. Happened to me. I think I've told this story before too, haven't I?
Is it the close proximity to someone walking past the door? I hear shit all the time if I'm home alone, which is rarely ever. But as a kid, you hear creaks up in the ceiling. You're like, okay, maybe it's just expansion and decompression from the cold and hot and the weather. The timbers, the joists are cracking.
Yeah.
But if I hear actual footsteps on the other side of my door, and that happens, I'm freaking out, bro. I'm searching the house, but I'm also turning on every light in the house before me. I'm that guy that goes.
100%.
I turn on every.
Yeah,
when I was younger, I used to run to if I was going down the stairs or up the stairs, whatever, and then having to go to bed or something. I would turn off the light, but when I would turn, I would actually run to the next room.
Dude,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger,
baby running.
I can't watch scary movies.
No,
It's
not baby. I'm talking teen. I'm talking later.
fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't watch certain horror movies, especially if they've have like The Nun is one I can think of straight off the bat. I struggle to watch them because when it is because the jump scares too much pussy, but like fucking, they're backed. You know, that demon, I'm not gonna say its name, is fucking is talked about in scripture. Right?
I don't fuck with scary movies either.
Yeah.
Man.
Really?
I love them,
I hate
mate.
it. Nah.
I love scary
You know what's
movies.
funny? Can I say this to you real quick? Right. So you remember that when you asked me about what you were going through when you had sleep paralysis and that. I want to touch on that if we get the time to.
Yeah.
Can we do it now?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Before then, though, you know how you're talking about the Muslim, the priest, and the psychologist, right?
The show, Evil.
That
right?
show, right?
Yes. Have you seen that show?
Well, haven't, but what
Good
that
show.
reminded me of was the biopsychosocial model. Do you know about? Do any of you know about the biopsychosocial model?
Say it slower.
The biopsychosocial model. It used to be known as the biopsychal spiritual model.
Yeah.
The biopsycho spiritual model. However, recently they changed it because spirituality has been pushed back and it's more sociality instead of spirituality. Spirituality is a part of sociality. So when you go through that triangle, you got a psychologist who's the psycho, the psychological. Then you got, it sounds like the Muslim, really took the proof from the pudding from what was real, and the priest represented for spiritual. Now, in the case of the human being, again, this is a theory, in my opinion, that's scientifically backed, that supports the evidence for the Trinity, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, because humans are biopsychosocial in nature, and each part of us, which is the body, the mind, and the spirit, interacts with each other. If your spirit gets smashed, eventually what happens is your mind will get smashed and then your body will get smashed. If your body gets smashed, it will affect the mind. Trauma. Trauma happens to the body. The mind remembers, starts infecting this, can start hitting this, right? So they filter in through each other. There are states of being. We have 3 states of being as human beings. And that's what that reminded me of. And just to touch on what you were talking about, I think, because I've had sleep paralysis experiences too, and they're very fucked up. Like my ones were very full on. And I mean, look, I'm not going to say it's because evil shit was coming in and out, but I think when, from what I've learned, when we do things and when we go through certain parts of our life, and it gets real tough, like some things capitalize on that. I always say the devil's a capitalist, and so are his demons and shit like that. And sometimes what they do is they just want to scare you into shit. That's why when you hear the cracks in the walls, all the bullshit, you can, if you fear that, he'll jump on that.
It's got you. Yeah.
He's got you in the and he'll take you, because the first place is discourse, disconnection, then despair. That's the aim of the enemy, quotation marks. But yeah, I think with sleep paralysis, it's a potentially could be a way to kind of scare you into, not feeling safe,
Making yourself more
freaking
vulnerable.
out, making yourself more vulnerable. So one of the things, and were you ever in the time like pushing spiritual stuff? Like, were you ever experimenting, anything like that?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I was having a great time in life.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
That's
Like
good.
it was when life was at its most fun for me. It was me and
Maybe
my
the
friend
devil
group.
was like, "Hey, don't have too much fun. How about this
Yeah,
when
I'm
you go to
still
sleep?"
here.
Oh.
It was just me and my friends. We'd go out every weekend. Is when we didn't have that much responsibilities, and we were all hanging out. That literally every single weekend, without a doubt, there'd be about 20 of us. Sometimes up to even 30. The same people. We'd be drinking, hanging out.
But were you smoking a lot?
Yeah. People were doing drugs and shit.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's what I did say. Like, I'm obviously very self-conscious.
Scientifically,
I'm not going to sit here and go, "Oh my god!" Like I was going through trauma. Like, no, dude. Like we were partying. That's
Yeah,
what I said.
yeah.
We were partying.
Your body
a lot.
and your liver was going through trauma.
Yeah. So like we were partying, but then, like I said, it was just weird because it just kind of started happening out of nowhere. And I'll never forget the first one. I was at Chloe's house. This is when we still weren't living together. We're just bouncing between each house. And like I said, for me, my ones weren't. I wasn't seeing shit, bro. I was hearing shit.
Yeah.
I was hearing whispers and shit. Like, but it was literally like that, like full parcel tongue shit. And I'm going, what the? I'm like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this bitch like sleep talking. And then that's when I realized I couldn't move to look at her. I'm sitting there going, oh shit. I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird. And then I notice I'm covered in sweat.
Yeah.
And then that's when I start freaking out trying to get up, but I can't get up. And then that happened, like I said, almost every night for about 4 to 5 months.
I think, sometimes, again, I always go back to devil being a capitalist. Iggy, when you look at you as a human being, I think, you have purpose and you try and use your voice and you try to use you as a human being to get into connection and to do the things you want to do. Maybe that has a bigger purpose. And sometimes what the enemy does is waits till you're vulnerable and just tries to put that in there, probe that little fucking part of you, man.
Yeah.
That's that alcohol, man. You're
Yeah.
killing your
Oh,
soul.
cool.
And the drugs don't help either.
I'm pretty sure it's Latin.
That was such a good fact, bro.
pretty
That
sure
was
it's
cool.
Latin, not Hebrew. I said
That's-
Hebrew. I think it's Latin.
That's not a coincidence. It's like it's definitely linked to that shit. Like,
I think so.
makes sense.
I have faith, brother. You're a fucking awesome human being.
Yeah, no, like I said, I wasn't scared. It didn't really scare me. I feel like that's why the devil, if it was the devil or an evil spirit, he failed big time.
Yeah.
He tried to get me, and I just woke up the next day and I said to the boys, I'm like, oh, that was fucking sick. And then after like the 5th month, I'm like, all right, now I'm kind of over it.
The devil's sitting there on the 5th month in, like the last night, and
Have
he's
you
like,
got this guy?
I can't get this guy. He just
Yeah.
leaves.
So that's the thing as well, because like I remember I was listening to I can't remember his name. Is an American Christian priest, right? Oh, it's really pissing me off that I forget his name. And he always talks about the devil is just literally all he does is he wants to make you feel X, Y, and Z, but he's just a pussy.
Yeah.
He can't do nothing.
He's a
Can't
bitch.
do nothing.
Yeah. I think and I think it's when you try to like you said, when you go to religion, it gives you some faith and it gives you a bit of like a MO to just stand your ground a bit. It's like kind of like a bully essentially. If you stand your ground and just know that if you know when you're younger, it's like my parents always said, just don't react. Like don't. If they're doing something stupid, just don't react. And like at the end of the day, they're just making a clown of themselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but obviously easier said than done when you got mental health and shit. But yeah, it is maybe placing your faith in something like that and maybe giving depression a name like the devil or this and that. It gives you the power to call it out as a thing that you can then overcome rather than just your thoughts. Because if you just your thoughts, it's like it's hard to just it helps when you give a name.
That's vexation. So they talk about, and by the way, it's Father Vincent Lampert. That's his name. He's a fantastic podcaster as well.
Shout out to Vincent Lampert.
Sorry. So vexation is the mental attacks. So interesting with the psychology. So there's always a study of intrusive thought, right? But where do your thoughts come from? That's been a massive argument in behavioral therapy and psychoanalytical therapy. Well, it's environment or it's this, it's that. And I think, all those kind of, perspectives are very valid. But I also believe that, sometimes when you have thoughts, it's because when you look at the ego, so you look at the human psyche, it's ego, super ego, and the id. And the id is described as the devil on your shoulder. The super ego is described as the angel on your shoulder. And you, the ego, make the decision between the two. Yeah. It's why the id always capitalizes on. It's why I was going to talk about before because I've worked with a few Satanists, and I'd love to share those stories with you guys. It's fucking very full on. But Satanism is all about indulgence. It's all about getting here, have the sex, have the drugs,
instant gratification.
Instant gratification. That's
Call
what
me Lucifer.
The id wants. But our id, though, in our consciousness, wants that. It's like when you have the devil, because you're making a decision, right? You're the ego, you're the person, right? Yeah. The id's going, well, you can get dick wet, brother. It's going to be fucking sick. She's hot as fuck. She's got big ass B cup, double D cup titties, not B cup. Sorry,
big old.
Fucking mute that out.
But I get you.
But the super ego, which is the super ego, Carl Jung, you've researched
Carl
him,
Jung,
Jung is fucking amazing. Right? I recommend anyone who wants to go in and work with psychology, look at Jung. His fucking Mandela's, his Mandela art. His original psychoanalytical theory, along with Freud, but Freud was a bit of a fruitcake on the cocaine. And
bro, we are going on a whirlwind of information right now that I'm like, my brain is struggling to keep up. So it is crazy, bro. How do you maintain all this?
You guys need to listen, right?
This is
you have to,
because everything you're saying has full validity in terms of like. I don't know if it's all true, but what you're saying, I can comprehend and understand and get where you're coming from. Even though at the end, it's like you said, I don't like how you're acknowledging other people's views while you're saying this, but this is your belief. But your beliefs are pretty like, I'm like, oh, I could see that. You know what I mean? So
I'm a man of faith, but you know what? When it comes to clinical literature, when it comes to psychology, I have big boundaries with my personal shit and professional shit, right? So personal, I'll say X, Y, and Z, especially about my faith. But professional, I will always go back on the back of evidence-based literature and science. That's what science is. I'm not going to go into postmodernism. I'm not going to bother. But it's not about. It's about what helps support your thesis, what helps support your idea, and there are ideas that support my ideas and many of the ideas we have. Why the fuck we're spiritual beings, so there is a space for it, and there's not this fucking grey area is man-made.
Yeah,
in my opinion, but doesn't matter. And I forgot where I was going with before.
Yeah, holy
shit. This will be my last one. I don't know if you two got more, but
I haven't got any more.
I don't know if this was some weird coincidence, but when I was 14, I was staying the night at my friend's house and we decided to sleep in the guest room instead of her own bedroom. She kept telling me she thought the room was haunted, and I thought she was just trying to wind me up. But just before she went to sleep, she mentioned it again. At that moment, everything suddenly went cold and the radio randomly switched on and started making weird static noises, even though nothing touched it. My friend refused to sleep in there ever again. Fuck that. Why are these stories? They're all girls, I feel like, posting these on fucking Reddit.
Women, I think,
women are more.
Women love paranormal crime docos, anything around like the unexplainable or.
Fuck, I jump when you do that, eh? Yeah, sorry.
I don't know.
Women are more susceptible, I think, to
spiritual
because they're seedy ghosts. They're just like, hey, I couldn't get pussy when I was living. He's like, well, it's like I woke up the other night and my left breast, my
What's that fucking?
My left nipple was wet during the night.
There's a fucking movie. What's it called? I think it's called
This is the end?
A Haunted House. No, Haunted House 1 and 2. It's
This is the end.
it's
It's
basically
crazy.
the trope is what a black family would do in a paranormal activity, right? And
With Eddie, sorry about that. That was Eddie Murphy.
no, it's with the you know the dudes that do White Girls.
Yeah. Oh,
It's those
yeah,
two.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And he's
yeah,
fucking the
bro.
ghost is raping him in the ass. Like fuck.
That's like in This Is the End, which you're about to. When the
devil
devil
comes in
fucks Jonah
fucks
Hill.
Jonah.
Yeah.
And that scene was not necessary, bro. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah.
This is my last one, boys, for the Reddit corner. First hospital I worked at after graduating from nursing school, handover from night shift, day shift. First hospital I worked at after graduating from nursing school, handover from night shift to day shift. Day shift nurse came in happily and greeted everyone. She then commented on how she passed by one of our patients by the lift and how surprised she was that she seen her out of bed. Everyone just quietly stared at her. That patient was bedbound and that patient actually passed away during the night shift.
Wow.
It still gives me goosebumps till this day
Whoa.
when I think about it.
That's cool.
I believe
That's
that.
a fucking good one.
That is
That's
a good one.
Yeah, I believe that.
That is a great one.
Do you think supernatural, supernatural, paranormal? I think supernatural with you know that show.
Yeah.
Like the paranormal activity and all that. Do you reckon it's more prone in either nursing homes
Yes.
or like hospitals and stuff? One, because maybe there's more people that die in hospitals, or like maybe
Yeah.
nursing homes because obviously people die. But it's almost like, are they present because they know like these people are on like near the edge of their life? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they just like feast on the souls of these like.
If you look at the Genesis story, you know, death was never meant to be a part of our cycle, you know, but because Adam and Eve listened to the serpent, and I'm always going to go down the Christian route. I apologize.
Yeah,
for
this is
anyone.
legit. I've noticed it's like every time we come back to religion, it's like it's crazy how, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just like I didn't realize how much you've gone gun ho in this religion, which is I always admire, even though like I said I'm not of the same like belief, but it's like I admire if you're going to go into it, do it. Where some people just go to church just to go to church. So I
Yeah.
admire.
I
All
like
those
philosophy.
Muslims that eat pork and shit, like they're going out smoking and shit.
I've got a story about that, by the way. I don't know if I shared that, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah. So death was invited in. You know, death was never meant to be a phenomenon, but ever since we left Eden, apparently. Anyway, again, this is philosophy, guys. I really want to reiterate. This is a lot of Christian philosophy. Death was invited in. Death was never meant to be a phenomenon for us. But then, due to the New Testament and the New Covenant with Christ, death is the human body death happens, but the spiritual death never happens anymore.
Yeah, but isn't the spiritual death either entering heaven or hell? Isn't that kind of your soul goes to rest? Isn't it only said to be the paranormal activity that takes place that's still happening on land in houses are the ones that are in either limbo? I've understood that to be kind of
as well.
purgatory.
So purgatory is the limbo.
The waiting
purgatory.
room? Is it the waiting room?
Yeah. So it's supported in Christianity that there is a purgatory, and it's the belief is, from what I've read, listened to, and researched, is that souls go there when they're kind of in the middle, you know, and they're kind of stuck. There's not a lot of people praying for them. They have really interesting, different lives, I guess, where they never knew Christ, but they never were bad, you know. And that's the Christian argument, I guess. I think with Islam, because this comes from primarily Dante's Inferno, which talks about purgatory. And if you've ever read that fucking manuscript, it's fucking crazy. Because it goes back, so that Dante's Inferno is relatable to the Vikings, what they believed in, because they believed in the Yggdrasil, or whatever the fuck it was called, Yggdrasil, which had nine realms, and hell has also nine areas in it too. And in heaven, there's 9 choirs of angels. Number
so
9
9.
comes up a lot. That's why in numerology,
Is it because it's the opposite from 666? Ooh.
well, in numerology,
That-
9 is the number before completion.
See, the thing with Christian religion, see, everything in life I feel like ties back to religion in some way.
I
There's
agree
truth
with
in all of it. Truth in
Yeah.
all of it. But the thing that I don't resonate the most with in Christian religion is what happens when you die. The heaven and the hell, the purgatory. I just don't believe it works like that. I tend to believe it's more of like a Buddhist thing, just in my heart.
It's
where
a good book.
all the souls are just like you.
Energy?
We're all one thing, the same soul, the
So
same
you believe in the
consciousness.
collective unconscious. The
Collective consciousness.
It's interesting because
I'm more down that route as well, to be honest.
That's just my belief.
and that's an interesting theory. And I think one of the things that, you know, because when I was in uni, I studied a lot of Buddhism, right? And there's a great book. It's called Living in Christ, Living in Buddha. I recommend that book. I can't remember who the author is, right? And I only started reading and never finished it, but it's fantastic. It sees Christianity more as a religion, but it sees Buddhism more as a lifestyle, right? Very interesting discussion there in that book. But I think one of the interesting things about the collective unconscious, God has many different names depending on the religion that he's called: Shiva, Buddha, whatever, depending on the Eastern philosophies and religions. Christianity, it's Allah, Yahweh, and God, Jesus Christ. But one of the things that really resonated with me with Christianity compared to the Eastern religions that I've studied immensely, and especially if you study psychology, you understand as well as I do, dialectical behavior therapy was basically built off the back of Eastern philosophy with breathing techniques, meditation, and stuff like that. Out of all of them, Christ is the only God, quotation marks, Son of God, that covered your sins. He died for you. Buddha didn't do that. He attained enlightenment. Shiva never done that. Shiva fucking killed Ganesha. I might be wrong about that. This is what my girlfriend told me, and she's a Hindu, so just disclaimer.
I don't believe her. Just because she's Indian doesn't mean it gives her a right to know about. I know. Yeah. No, I'm joking.
In Judaism, they don't believe Christ was the Messiah, and in Islam, it's Christ was a great prophet. So the one thing that really, for me anyway, again, I speak from personal perspective, is Christ died for us, and the whole thing is he had the human experience of pain and suffering. We all carry a cross. We have burden. We have goals. We have ambition. I think that's normal human things that were built into us because we're made in the image of a being that had ambition to create us. And we went down a very bad path. The devil has us in his hands, and I think in this world. But I think when you remember that your soul and your being is so much more and worth so much that, we killed our God in Christianity. If you really think about it.
Hold up. Sorry to interject.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did he have to die for our sins? I've never got that. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but get off just run. If I was him, I don't want to do this shit. What the fuck? But I've never got why he had to die for all our sins. What is with that? I know we're going on a tangent here, but that's the one thing about religion where I'm like, the whole Jesus thing, this and that, I'm like crazy, like the story and stuff. But I'm like, why, if all that is true, it's like, why did he have to die?
I think, as human beings, we acknowledge the fact that death is a part of our reality. And I think because, if you look at the Epic of Gilgamesh as well, I always related back to this story, death scared the king into finding immortality. But what Jesus did was acknowledge the fact that things are ephemeral, which are eternal. You know what ephemeral means? So ephemeral means eternal. It's another word for eternal. They are spiritual, but the body houses only, primarily sin. It will give you a gate to sin, but there is a higher place. And you know what? I will come in, because what they say in Christianity is, God is the Son of God, but he's the incarnation of God also. So God walking among us, and we killed him. Realistically, the Jews, we killed him. I say we because, truth be told, we crucified him. And I think the greatest act of love and mercy because if you look at the Old Testament, the Old Testament, fucking, that's biblical shit. God's, you can relate God to maybe a bit more of a angry parent, whereas Jesus Christ, he died and he went, I acknowledge the fact that, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they do. And we don't fucking know what we do. No. And maybe it is, even as
I still don't know what I do.
Neither do I. And my mother and my father, whatever they go through, our parents, come from that perspective. I know they don't know what they do, but it's the collective wisdom that they can attain through life. And it's that journey. It's, again, that burden. So I feel like what Christ did to die was to show us that there is a burden in the cross, that we all have a cross that we bear, and it will lead to our death. But in that moment, we'll never be closer to goodness than in that moment. And that's what he did. He covered us in the blood of his blood, and in that love, he protects one.
Sorry. I promise. I swear on everything that exists on this planet, it had nothing to do with what you were saying. But you know how sometimes when someone's laughing when they're not meant to laugh. Yeah. Because as soon as as soon as I dropped that joke before, and then I'm just I seen him just trying to give you the space to do it, and then it's just that student thing when in assembly when everyone's and then you laugh. Yeah, sorry, bro.
Sorry. This God,
it's all right.
Sorry, man. No, I get that. It's just it's just hard because it's so polarizing, right? Like the whole religious thing, everything that you're saying makes sense, but it also doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with Dylan. I think that's all interconnected. Yeah. I think, when you have
the heaven, hell, it's such sectioned out zones. It seems pretty shallow for someone that is supposed to be so majestic and wise and above all, to them just be like, you there. It's very labeled.
The way I've always described that to me is a lot of things in the Bible, which I believe over time in all religions has been adapted and changed by humans with human goals, human brains, human sin. They've changed for their own, gain and whatever. So there's a lot of things in it that I feel like have been warped and changed over time. That is like. It sounds human. It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound above all. Like you said. Like you go here, you go here. That sounds very human to me.
It's authoritative, and if you look as well, right, the only being, right, and Father Vincent Lambert touches on this as well, right. The only fucking.
That was a cough. That was a cough.
That's all good. It's all good. But the only being that's all about authority and legalities is the devil.
Yeah.
Never forget that, because he speaks about, he's an exorcist, right? This priest, right? And he speaks about his exorcisms very openly. And the devil is he's a legalator. He is, if you have rules in the Christian church or the Catholic church, he can't push those boundaries because he's not allowed to, right?
It's like a vampire can't get in unless you let it in.
Yeah. It can't be invited in. It can't go out in the sunlight. Can't do it. Garlic is a way to get away.
A vampire can't...
You have to invite vampires in.
Vampires, you have to let the vampire in. You have to say, you can come in my house. And otherwise, they're stuck like behind an invisible wall. They can't get in.
It's the same too with demons because
they can't see their reflection and shit?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Anyway.
It was the same with demons. Demons cannot get a hold of you.
Unless you allow them.
Well, exactly.
You play a Ouija board, summon that motherfucker. That.
And it's, all of us, even if you're non-believer or you're atheist or whatever, what a lot of my faith tradition, believes in is that everyone's covered in the blood of Christ, right? Everyone has their guardian angel, regardless of your faith tradition. But it's when you pull back up, when you kind of pull into the occult, which is why whenever I really want to talk about the Satan stories, but we might not have enough time, and that's fine. But when you pull back into the occult, when you start not believing and going down like the gratification of you, if you look at the world now, we live in greed and pride. So capitalism and communism are both
communism, Jezza.
Yeah, are all about greed and pride. It's about the gratification of I. But one of the things that really pushed me in religion while I was going through is I'm not going to be the person that saves my clients. It's not. It's not about me, And that's when I had the externalization and went, okay, I will work within the foundation of the fact that I am just a cog in this machine that will try and help this person facilitate. Which I always knew, but I think I put too much shit on myself going, it takes me to make the change. It's not fucking up to me.
No, just guide them.
Exactly. But no, just facilitate the space.
Yeah.
I can say X, Y, and Z. I can psychoeducate. I can do all these things, but the choice
is
and
theirs.
That free will, brother.
Yeah.
Free will. And we were given that.
But every now and then you might hit a note, hit something and touch on something where they're like, fuck, that's the takeaway. Because I see a therapist as well, and it's like, you might not get every session, like every session might not be like a awe-inspiring fucking. It's not like in the movies. That's why a lot of people they stop going when they probably should.
It's been fucking monopolized too.
Yeah,
as well.
like you don't need to go to therapy just because like all your family died. Like you can just whatever, just to talk and give that space is what you were saying, and it feels good for that space.
Brick by brick,
that's it, bro.
You still got your bumblebee ears on.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
We're about to flip phones, everyone. Now, the elephant in the room will address first, I guess.
I'm sick of talking about this motherfucker, man.
No, man.
Yeah.
This guy has been, he's been our content all year.
Well, it's only because it's new shit that's coming out, right? I know we always talk about it, but man.
What's new? What came out that's new?
Can I tell you what's new?
Yeah.
The latest, right, is we found out that all those bottles of baby oil weren't in fact baby oil, it was GHB. All of that oil was GHB. So he would massage it. He would massage it into their skins, and GHB, when it goes in, it numbs you and paralyzes you.
Whoa.
Right? So literally, all that was GHB. Yep. He has underground passageways leading to other houses that he owns, escape routes. A Texas-based attorney has just said that he's representing more than 100 new accusers with over more than 100 new accusers with sexual assault allegations towards Diddy that occurred over 20 years. A lot of them say that they were minors at the time of the events that took place. The youngest, just 9 years old.
Oh,
How is he-
He would offer them deals like, I'll give you a record deal. He would liaise with the parents and go, listen, I'm going to get your son a record deal, blah, 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 or your daughter or whatever. Come into this room. We need a private meeting, and would do the deed. It was said that Diddy would not be the only one that will be named as a defendant, but that there will be other high-profile individuals, some household names. The attorney quotes, many powerful people. There are many dirty secrets. So this is just confirmation. I know we've said it week after week. I know what you're saying. We're drilling it, right?
No, but how is he pleading not guilty? He's pleading not guilty, though, isn't he?
Well, put it this way. Put it this way. If you put out a $50 million bail and that they don't take it, you know they got everything on you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he literally went 50 mil and they went, no.
Yeah.
Because he would have flown to another country.
Yes.
He would
Yeah,
have
would've
got
got
escaped
out.
it.
Yeah.
But then we've said it all along. There's other, and LeBron James comes out with a quote and goes, this is how he addresses it. He literally said, I don't want to divulge any information until I know what becomes public knowledge. Like, is that not the most guilty shit?
Was that real? That he said that? I don't know, because LeBron James is a bit of a meme. They make a lot of memes of this guy. So
Okay.
There's funny ass memes.
Maybe we've got to fact check that, because I think that'd be very dumb for him to say. I think that would, but I did see something. But nowadays, you don't know what's real and what's fake. You know, the media, what we were saying before.
It's definitely something he would have said, because LeBron James is an idiot who was on TikTok live going, Diddy parties are hectic and shit. So
ain't no party like a Diddy party.
He's a fucking idiot. Now he's gone, oh shit.
But then there's also the thing where now, though, if you happen to go to a Diddy party and you were just at the normal part of the party, if you got a picture with him, you're automatically guilty, right?
Yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio now, he was young as, boom, I think he said that I think it was like 2008 or something, he was partying with Diddy. But who's to say that? I'm not saying they definitely didn't, but what if they did wrap it up a bit early? You know what I mean? What if they did say what Denzel Washington was saying and go, leave the party before the devil gets there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all that shit, how do you know? Like Ashton Kutcher, there's shit now with Ashton Kutcher that it's like he was going back to saying there was that's the thing, when this shit comes out, it goes back to old interviews.
Yeah.
And it was an interview with Ashton Kutcher saying when him and Mila Kunis met, she was 14, he was 19. He was actually 20, but he took away a year on the interview. He was 20 when she was 14. And that the guy that got done for sexual assault, you know, the afro hair dude.
Danny, what's his name?
Danny someone?
Danny something. Yeah.
Maltz or whatever. He was said to be like, oh yeah, like go. They would practice like kissing and stuff in the scene and go, all right, yeah, just was very like, yeah, like it was very like pro them two getting together. You know what I mean? And they got together. They were dating ever since, I think, or maybe not ever since, but they got together through that show.
That's just
and then you know how they went with that public announcement saying they backed that guy and said he's a good stand-up guy. People were saying they were doing that to try to be like, appease him and be like, hey, we're still in your corner, just so he doesn't come out with shit that's happened in the past. So who knows, man? Because him and Diddy were tight at one point. And the thing is, like we were saying off air before, when I was younger, P. Diddy was such a household name, and I was like dancing to like, I love my little nasty girl. All my ladies from around the world. They just happen to be under 10 years of age.
People are so stupid, though. Diddy was a massively successful businessman. So now they see anyone who says anything about Diddy or with Diddy is guilty.
Yeah,
is
that's
guilty.
wrong.
But like,
It's
use your
wrong.
brain, bro.
Yeah,
Like, he was
yeah,
a
yeah.
businessman. There was a clip of Trump on The Apprentice. There was a chick talking about Diddy, and then Trump says, "Oh, I know Diddy. Diddy's a good guy. I know him pretty well, or whatever." And then people going, "Trump's at the Diddy parties. Trump's guilty. But like, bro, he's a $1 billion businessman. Like they fucking
and he could have had a
like,
genuinely good interaction with Diddy. It doesn't mean that he's automatically the diddler.
Yeah, like-
he's not the diddler to everyone he meets. He even said there's videos of him at the balcony going, "Yeah, you kids better get home, go home before this time because it's about to get freaky," or this and that. Like there's pictures of Justin Bieber off his nut at his house, drunk as, but who hasn't been drunk at a party? But automatically it's just like, you know,
Just use your brain a bit,
There's a
like-
mural that got in I think Adelaide, I think it is. I think it's or wherever.
seen that,
It's a cafe on a cafe wall, and it's a photo of Diddy, a mural of Diddy, and then it's got a bottle of like, well, what we now know is GHB, but at the time baby oil in
Bro,
between.
GHB is so dangerous, dude.
Yeah,
You
need a drop. You need a few drops to get a high.
Die.
And he's got bottles.
Yeah. I wonder, I would be more worried about how many people have died from the overdose.
That's wild. That's GHB. Or
Jeez,
whatever. That's
fuck.
crazy.
That is one of the most
And I
fucked
love
drugs.
how it's masquerading as baby oil. He put it in baby oil, like that was better. Like he could have put it in sunscreen if he wants extra protection from the sun. But he's gone.
That's
baby
so
oil.
crazy, dude.
And look at this mural. Ready? Maybe put it on the. You can put it on the video on the YouTube. It's a baby bottle. It's a baby oil ball separating Justin Bieber's head.
Jesus Christ.
But they're kicking up a storm because at the end of the day, it is this shit that comes out. It's if it is true, I do believe it's true. Is pretty horrific, right? And it's easy, like myself, to get caught up in the Diddy's going away, and I'm like, what a sick bastard. But it is quite atrocious what he's done, right? Obviously, and when people take to it with a mural that's kind of taken the piss, and it's on a cafe wall as well. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty crazy. So. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. People with power, it's like anything. It's a running common thing.
I mean, the thing as well, like I think I said this in the last podcast. You know, Tupac, Biggie, Puff, before they were businessmen, before they were rappers, where were they? The street. And I did alcohol and drug therapy. I practiced it with people who grew up in the same way. They have a very hard life, but also sometimes can be criminals. And if you give, it's like if you give a monkey a fucking.
Whoa.
No, I'm being serious. If you give a monkey fame, power, and riches, is it still a fucking monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't go through the appropriate. Like maybe he didn't see a therapist. Maybe he didn't. But like I really urge people to consider as well. Pac got shot because he was doing gangster shit. Yeah, he was rich and famous. He didn't need to do gangster shit. Biggie was in the same fucking boat.
Actually, Tupac's interesting though because Tupac actually grew up. He was a theater kid. Like he was
very feminine,
real fruity, and like pretty good upbringing. Like he wasn't actually that deep in the streets at all. Like he actually was born in New York, moved to California, and he had a pretty good upbringing.
But do you think he would have, at some point, because of his affiliations with other rappers, he would have done some gang shit?
It grew with him. But
I believe that did he put the hit out on him?
I think so.
I think so. I think he paid someone a mil to have him dead,
smack him,
or unalived, or whatever they call it.
I think Tupac, like because he was a theater kid, he was acting his whole career. He was playing the role of the thug, of the gangster. But then obviously through his affiliations and stuff, you end up getting embroiled in it and shit. But he's an interesting one. Biggie was selling crack and shit when he was like fucking 11 years old. But he was a nerd too in school though. Biggie was actually a nerdy kid.
You see as
some
well,
of the criminals I've talked to are some of the smartest fucking people I've met in my life.
Yeah.
There was this guy. It reminds me of that girl. Remember that girl with the braids? That fat girl with the braids that was coming out. Jaguar.
Jaguar, right?
Yeah, right. She was saying all this crazy shit that's now coming up as like true. There was this guy, this dude that was somehow affiliated with Diddy, that said that one time he walked in on one of the parties and Will Smith was getting bent over a couch by this guy. So, and the way you're saying it was so funny. You know how like black people, they have such they explain. Yeah, what did he say?
Right, so he's like, so I was walking in the room and then I see Will Smith and some other dude engaging in fucking anal sex. Yeah. And I remember hearing that from
engaging in
anal sex.
Yeah. And he was pumping Will from behind. And he was saying that. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. He was playing like Hitch. Get it over here. Hey.
Oh, fuck, man.
If they're really so open about it, which it sounds like they are at these parties, like anyone who's at the party can see it, it's just crazy that like, how's this stuff not...
Get out.
It does though, but no one cares. Until
maybe if you're all in that rich, you're not associated with like, you do have maybe poor friends, but you hang out with like, those are the people you hang out with. It's kind of like their own little club. And when they get in that club, regardless of if they're, doing the dirty shit, the hideous stuff, even if they're there having a few shots and maybe already just being a part of it, as in like being there when that shit happens, maybe you feel like, shit, I can't stop this. It's Diddy for fuck's sake. He's like signing everyone, this and that. And even you just have that guilt of not, when you don't share any of it, you're kind of like, aren't you like kind of as guilty if you don't speak up about it? After a while. You have to remember. So they probably think that probably shuts them up.
When they're that rich and shit too, they'd all be signing NDAs and shit. They're not just going to parties and partying and fucking each other in the eye. They'd be going to the parties. They'd be fucking lawyers.
Sign for the gaping rim job over here.
They'd all be signing shit like a thing of discreetness where they can't talk. And then if you say shit, Diddy's got fucking the best lawyer in New York, but fucking Beyonce's got the best lawyer in fucking Chicago. It's all the money talks. So they'd all be signing NDAs, keeping hush-hush and doing fucking freaky shit. And then that's why there was the blokes like Kanye and shit that probably weren't signing these NDAs and slowly saying shit. That's what pisses me off too about all these fucking Gen Z, these Gen Alpha fucks on TikTok. They're all going, yay, Kanye's a savior. He saved Taylor Swift. And I commented on a video. I chucked a Joey out. I couldn't handle it anymore. I commented on the video. I was like, bruh, shut the fuck up. You all thought this guy was crazy. And now he's all coming out making fucking little TikTok edits of him saving Taylor Swift apparently.
That saving Taylor Swift is so stupid.
Yeah,
Like, he did not save
What's
Taylor
the go with
Swift.
that again?
I don't even know. Apparently, they're saying when he went up at the VMAs and was like, "I'm gonna let you finish," but Beyonce had the best video. You know, he took the award off Taylor Swift or whatever. They're saying he did that because.
Because Beyonce would have killed Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
because
that is so because she won the award instead of Beyonce.
Yeah, nah.
Gen Z have no brain cells.
Yeah.
That is so dumb.
That's so stupid.
That makes no. Kanye West obviously he was just a bit, fucking
Off his head.
Yeah, he was just a bit fucking having fun, probably a bit loose, bit
Man,
drunk.
cocaine's a hell of a drug. Right? Oh, he would have he'd be getting
So
the
instead, he throws Beyonce under the bus.
Why would she kill for her winning the award? That is so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think she drinks baby blood with Jay-Z, but
Yeah, me too. I agree.
But,
But
I don't think
that
she.
makes sense.
That's like
Isn't that Bohemian Rhapsody?
that's even far fetched for a movie plot. You know what I mean? I'll be like, that's not something that
Well,
would
they,
happen.
they say that because they reckon Beyonce's the
Killed
one who got
Aaliyah,
Aaliyah and Left Eye.
Yeah, which maybe, but not because they
that was
won an
Jay-Z,
award
wasn't it?
instead
Oh, whatever.
Anyway,
Who knows?
But look,
It's
I
so
could be
intriguing.
maybe he did do that. I don't know, but in my head, I just think
Isn't
that's
it
kinda
crazy
stupid.
though? Doesn't Jay-Z silence and all this just say it all though? He was best buds with, we've said it before, R. Kelly, P. Diddy, everyone. And everyone around is falling and he's just like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Weird.
mean?
He'd be shitting himself right now, this cunt.
Anyway.
It's intriguing how I guess they're all in this massive fucking epicenter of like social kind of wealth and power, and yet the fucking world's crumbling around them. You know, like
They still do poor people shit.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's poor people
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like the sex trafficking, this and that, all that crazy shit.
that's crazy.
That's something that just like there's psychos no matter what your pockets. If your pockets are full or empty,
There's a,
you can still be a psycho. You know what I mean?
I think I don't. Do any of you listen to Joe Rogan?
Yeah, all the time.
Have you listened to the lady who escaped North Korea?
Yeah.
She has
Yeonmi Park.
Yes, she has a very intriguing story because when she got into China, she was basically sex trafficked into China.
Yeah.
And she was going through. It was all the high level soldiers. I don't think she said any generals or anything like that, but they were in the army and they were sex trafficking.
That's crazy that it goes that deep that the army is involved. You know what I mean? But
Or maybe it was when they were crossing the Mongolian. Maybe it was the Mongols. I can't remember.
okay.
Oh, I might have to read.
Were they getting over the
They were just trying to get
the Great Wall of China?
Because when they got to North Korea, because you see with China, I'm not going to get too political on Diddy, but China is actually funding North Korea to test their nukes out. So North Korea has no fucking money, and neither does Russia. Russia's basically broke as well in an economic standpoint, and she explains this very well. So, sorry, China's piggybacking the communist regime at the minute, and when she got out to China, they basically said, well, you're either getting sent back or you're going to go with this rich gambler dude or some millionaire guy and be his mistress. And she did that, gave him her virginity, and then when he went broke, he told her to go to this Christian place, and the Christians converted to Catholicism, Christianity, so which I still think is terrible. You've coerced a woman to change into Christianity, and they took her and they told her how to get through the Mongol border to get then into capitalist
crazy.
Western
Yeah,
society.
that's a wild podcast.
It's a very. I recommend anyone who's watching this right now, if you really want to know this terrible thing that happens, listen to that podcast. That woman is a very educated woman who has literally been uneducated, gone through all this shit, educated herself, and expresses it in this way. Fucking fantastic lady.
Well, I got to bounce in a minute, but I only got two quick things to bring up. But the first thing I'll bring up, did you see the sarcopod was used for the first time in Switzerland, and police recovered the body of a woman.
Yep.
So the sarcopod, have you heard about this? So the sarcopod is this thing, right?
It's like a scuba diving.
It's basically it's a suicide booth from Futurama.
Okay.
Right. So what it is, you sit in it, and then it can be operated just by the person in there. They push a button, and it fills with like hydrogen peroxide or some shit. It kills them in 10 minutes, basically. So they stop breathing oxygen, and they pass out, and they die. But it can be portable, put it anywhere, and a woman found in Switzerland put it in the middle of the forest. There's full photos of it when they recovered it, and got used for the first time. It's been a thing for a while, but it's never been used before.
You say she found it in a forest?
No, that she put it there. They've put it there, and she used it in the forest. And the
euthanized
police
herself.
recovered her and found her body. She actually killed herself in the thing. So, and I said this ages ago on this podcast. You can probably find it that I think the suicide boost from Futurama is going to be legit. It's good.
Yeah,
in
you
the
said
future.
something about that.
Technology is going to get so good, and medicine will get so good that you'll essentially live forever or for ages, and people will get bored of life and have to kill themselves or go in a booth, boom, And
That's
basically what it
a
is.
very bougie way of killing yourself as well, right? Like you got to get this pod. It's almost like not worth doing it. You know,
in Switzerland, assisted dying is legal, but it's a police investigation, or whatever, because that's not a medical way. It's not medically certified
because they're bound by thou shalt do no harm. You can't do any with medicine. I know with doctors. I think because it's Switzerland's part of the European Union, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. So they'd be covered by doctors who are in countries that are part of the UN. They can't do no harm. So I think that's when the pendulum swings on that one
because they're harming themselves.
Well, I think with Western culture and civilization, suicide, and this is based off the whole entire West is basically Judeo-Christian. So
does it have anything to do with religion, that?
Well, if you look at our virtues and values for the entire West, it's only until recently started pushing that. It is Judeo-Christian values and principles, but I'm not going to get into that. I think with euthanasia, it's so controversial and polarized that, it could be a mental health issue. So when doctors, it's the same thing with gender-affirming care in America, right? It's a polarizing topic, right? That, is it mental health? Is it identity? It's still an extensively controversial thing. They don't have the answers. So with doctors and practitioners, they get smashed down basically and say, look, these are the legalities behind it all, X, Y, and Z. And I think with the European unions, they're a bit more leaning towards, life. And I think that's why they have the police investigations and stuff. I'm not too sure. This is me speculating, just saying that. Yeah. But
yeah. I thought that's fucking
interesting, man.
Yeah, probably see more of those.
Is it a universal fit for all? What if a guy that's 7 foot, if a guy that's
300 kilo guy,
he wants to get in?
That's a good question.
And she probably wanted some scenery, I guess, when she was dying.
Yeah.
What do you got? I was just gonna say, have you guys been seeing the storms in the floods?
Hurricanes and
Nepal?
shit.
What was it called? No, in America.
Southeast America,
What was it called? Hurricane Helene?
Helene.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy that those Americans, you got to give it to them, They've got the whole ecosystem in that fucking place. These motherfuckers are getting floods to the point where
they
your
got
house,
the ecosystem.
you got to stand on your roof of your house. That's how much water they're getting.
Is there alligators or crocodiles around those parts? Because imagine if I don't know if it was close to Florida or places like that, but imagine if you're in Florida and a hurricane comes and there's anacondas,
crocs,
and there's crocs just
in your living room.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? But 160 dead. And 1.5 million people are currently displaced, without power, running water.
That's crazy.
Is there so you know how when we get for us, right, 40 mil of rain's a lot. We all go, holy shit, 40 mil of rain. That was what we had at the start of the week, right? It was a lot of rain. Everything's wet. Everything's still wet. Is there a millimeter number on their inches? No,
I think
they've
it
got
goes
gallons,
up. I think it was just once it gets past a certain amount, it's you're fucked.
Yeah, wow. Because we've had floods. I remember the gnarliest flood I ever seen was when the Nepean River got that full where it was almost at the bottom of the bridge.
Yeah.
And I remember I drove through St. Clair and Solander Fields, the water was almost up to the road and there was cunts and canoes and shit.
Yeah.
That's the most I've seen.
Because those fields go in like that as well. So it's a very big water catchment area.
But these motherfuckers are standing on the roof of their house waiting to get rescued.
We got stuck. I couldn't leave Warragamba.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Appalachian Mountains is one of the places that got completely wiped out also.
Yeah, I saw that.
So the Whitakers?
Yeah, probably. On the kayak.
Right, we're so lucky. Right, in America, they got all these shit depending on where you live, but earthquakes all the time. Right? How weird.
We're the best.
We had that little earthquake. We was and
everyone's freaking out.
Whoa!
I was playing Rocket League and streaming it when that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a fucking clip on my TikTok about it.
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking about it. Yeah.
I was like, Kira, did you just smash the wall or some shit? And then she's like, no, something's going off. And I was like, fuck. Got up. Ended up being a 3.8 earthquake.
Yeah. For me, it just felt like it was one jolt. It was just one jolt. And I thought the cat was jumping on the door or something on the outside.
I'm smashing the fucking shit out of this.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, but I'm just so glad that's not me. I'm like that kind of guy in my head. I feel like I'd be like, cool, calm, and collected. I'm like, Tori, we need this with supplies. Let's go.
You'd be running.
Because it wasn't just the hurricane caused tornadoes, mudslides, and flash floods. So it's all of the 3-in-1. It's just it's crazy because the Earth is apparently the only planet that actually has tectonic plates and stuff, right? That has nothing to do with hurricanes, eh?
There's
earthquakes.
Mars quakes though. I've heard of Mars quakes.
Mars quakes?
Moon quakes too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
I think when it comes to storms and that, like Venus, Mars has sandstorms, I guess, and Jupiter has immense storms as a gas giant. But I don't know about earthquakes.
Can we fact check that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard that term.
Maybe I'm
I know
wrong.
moonquakes. I've definitely heard.
But is it like, does it all work the same? Does earthquakes
probably
need
not.
tectonic plates? They might have an earthquake on another planet, but is it the same? Does it happen the same? Because gravity isn't the same on all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
That's a good question. We'll just find out. Does Mars have Mars quakes? Yes, Mars does experience quakes, known as Mars quakes. NASA's InSight lander has detected over 1,300 Mars quakes since it landed on Mars in November 2018. The largest Mars quake recorded so far had a magnitude of 5.0 and occurred on May 24th, 2022.
Damn.
Well,
Damn.
There you go.
That's our next time.
Unlike Earth, Mars doesn't have active plate tectonics, so these quakes are likely caused by the cooling and contraction of the planet's crust as well as volcanic activity.
Damn.
There you go.
okay. Nice. Well, I love that we're both right. I was like, please don't make it like an MDMA that's natural off trees.
I stand by that, bro. I got taught that in school.
Yeah, fucking earth. Oh yeah. So I know I don't like I don't mean to sound like it's all this bad shit, like sexual assault cases, this and that. I'm not bringing this up because of the story, but something else has happened, which is anyway. I'll let you work it out. But have you heard of the Lyle and Eric Menendez case?
Yeah.
So years ago, if you don't know, you know the case.
No.
So I'll just quickly brush over the case, right? So there was two brothers, Lyle and Eric Menendez. Their dad, Jose Menendez, and Kitty Menendez, the wife. Jose was a Cuban guy from Cuba, very rich businessman, makes all this money, and it comes out after ages that like Jose Menendez, very hard on him, like they had to be best at everything, and like very hard on him, abusive, but it comes out that he was sexually abusive to Lyle when he was 6 to 8 years old. And then during that time, Lyle had told him to stop. And then he goes, okay, he stopped. But then he started, sexually assaulting Eric, who was 6, till he was like 18, right? But because they didn't know about it, and because obviously with sexual assault, you obviously don't want to, not speaking from experience, obviously, but you don't want to really just shout it from the rooftops. It becomes shameful. But also when you're kids, they got told that it was like normal. Like he said, he kept bringing it back to the Romans, and he would tell them, apparently he would tell them, this is what the Romans and the Greeks did. This toughens you up, blah, blah, blah. And that even like, it would happen so many times. He would even have like names for the sessions. Like knees were where the dad would get him to perform oral sex on him, right? And then rough sex was obviously rough sex. Then there was object class where he would shove objects, use lube and shove objects in their ass.
What is wrong with people?
Bro, some cunts are fucking
Yeah.
retarded.
So it's very, very, very.
It's full on.
Yeah, full on, right? But when they got done, they ended up talking eventually to each other, and they realized that they were both getting like molested at one stage of their lives, and they were very angry about that, right? So when they were 18 and 21, they got 2 shotguns and went to their parents' house and shot them 15 times with shotguns, right? Buck shots as well. 15, the mum got shot 10 times. They shot the dad 5 times. Not because they favored the mum, but it was just the way it had. They were young. They didn't know how to shoot a gun. They were just shooting, right? Then they got got done. They got rid of the dad's will because the will I thought had nothing in it, and then they said, they ended up realizing that they did have them in the will. So they went on a spending spree right after the death and stuff. And then so it didn't look good when it came out that they went on this spending spree after because they got his life insurance. But now people think because it came out that they were just doing it for the life insurance money, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But then it's come out that like he was like sexually abusing him and stuff. And because none of the parents were there to defend themselves, it leads to a very polarizing issue because some people believe them, but then some people think that they were just rich kids that wanted the money, right? And who's to say who's the thing, right?
Christ.
But then recently, the reason I bring this up, they've been in prison since 1995 or something. They're serving double life sentences for that, right?
Each one.
Yeah, each one, non-parole. They've tried to have a retrial because they just want to get out and they want to prove their not innocence. They've admitted they've done it, but trauma, right? All that stuff. But then now someone else in Cuba, who's now an adult, has come out and say, no, hold on a minute. I was 14 and this Jose guy sexually assaulted me when I was like young. So now there's someone else that's come out.
Yeah.
Now apparently the actor that's played Eric Menendez in this new Netflix thing has gone to Kim Kardashian, because Kim Kardashian's into getting people off death row and all that. They're not on death row, just life, but got with Kim K and met up with the brothers and stuff, and they're trying to get a retrial because of in light of this new information. And it's just like one of those things where it's hard, right? Because I know it's a heavy topic. I didn't mean to bring it up to bring everyone down, but it's just the thing where it's like, now, I don't know, you need to watch the Netflix thing, because it wasn't made by the brothers, but now the brothers are actually making a proper doco about it, because someone else kind of dramatized it.
Yeah.
But this dramatization of it really does give you all perspectives of what could have happened, because it's called Monsters, but it doesn't say who's the monsters. It makes you believe, who do you think are the monsters? Is it the parents?
Yeah.
It shows from different perspectives. But now that new information's come out, it's kind of like, because I don't believe that if they are telling the truth, which I don't know why, but I do believe that they are telling the truth. I might be wrong, but if they are telling the truth, I don't think, like, people here get 5 years for murder sometimes.
Yeah.
Why are these guys
Doing
life? And even if, like, I don't know, maybe if they just did it for the money, fair enough. But there's so many people that have come out, even cousins that have said when they were younger, they would tell me, like, is it normal for your dad to shower with you? And, like, you know, and they'd be like, what the fuck? Like, he'd done this. So they've actually told people prior to the court case what has been happening in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Whereas if they had not told a soul, fair enough. But I don't know. I believe that they need to get, like, you know, they've done a lot of time in jail already. Apparently they're doing a lot of good in prison as well. They're doing some seminars, like trauma seminars or this and that, or they're trying to just live a good life in
Trauma
prison.
changes your brain, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
That's
That's a
fucking
wild
insane.
story.
A wild story.
That's fucking
But
insane.
I don't know.
So there's a doco on Netflix of it.
It's a doco, but it's the dramatized version, right?
Right.
And then now they've come out and said, hold on, this isn't true. This bit's not true. This bit's not true. And then now Netflix is letting them
Do a real
have their own doco
What's
on
it called? on
It's
Netflix?
called just the Lyle and Eric Menendez case. Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually pretty interesting because it has different, tells a story.
You
from different
watched it?
views.
Yeah, me and Chloe watched it. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Pretty
There was-
intense.
There was one scene where I was literally like, my mouth was open. I was like, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe when the actor was playing
jail?
Eric was explaining what the dad used to make him do to him. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
this
can't
is
watch that shit, man.
Yeah.
right. No, it was
doesn't show
fucking full on.
Sorry,
it was full on.
It doesn't show anything. Of course, it's not graphic, but I'm just saying, like,
Even hearing the stories,
Yeah.
but like, I think
Yeah.
because of my
yeah,
job,
it is cool.
it's
And
fucked.
Especially if you
Fucked.
have kids, right? You must be different when you have kids, because people actually do that shit, which is insane.
Oh, terrible.
Anyway,
So fucked up.
But I didn't mean to end on that bad
Well,
note.
I really do need
I'm
Jesus,
gonna
man.
bounce right now, but I got one thing I wanted to bring up. Did you see Meta's new glasses they brought out?
Yes.
They're crazy,
Yeah.
right? And everyone's talking about Mark Zuckerberg, how he's had like a system update because he's cool now. Like, I mean, he always
He's
wears
had
like
a
full
system
drip.
that's funny
He
as.
wears drip and shit. But he's actually, like, when he talks and does interviews and shit, it's like he's conscious of it, and he's still like had some coaching or something, because he's very different now. And I respect them a lot because they brought out these glasses, right? Super cool Ray-Ban things, like
What's the
those.
go with them? What do they do?
So it's like AR, like your phone in your glasses, basically, and you can control apps, everything through your phone. You could see AR, IR shit, like, right? And they did this presentation on it, and Mark Zuckerberg, they're not releasing it. He's saying, like, they could release them as like a cash grab and shit, but to him, the technology's not where they're at.
Yeah.
They're like thicker than Callan's glasses right now. They're pretty, like, almost 3D glasses kind of thickness.
Yeah.
And he's saying, like, it's very good, the technology, but it's below the standard he wants. So they're going to wait and then, you know, until it's a bit better.
Wow.
But it's fucking impressive, man. It's crazy. Literally, like, you remember the Google ones and shit that came
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Like, or even Apple has them. Apple Vision Pros, big fucking snow goggle things. These are like little Ray-Bans, like, fucking crazy. And it's still not good enough for him. He's like, you know, we're going to wait a little bit, like, because also you're saying the price range, it's pretty good, but it'd be expensive. And it's like, we want it to have it cheaper for people to access and shit. So it's like,
And so, can you obviously can't see? It looks like normal glasses. Like, you're wearing glasses now. It's obviously Ray-Bans, but you got the tint on them, obviously.
I
But-
think there's sunglasses at the moment now,
Yeah.
or but they're changing it. He said there is clear version or something.
Yeah, it'd be more trippy to see a full clear lens, but then you're seeing your little pop-ups on your the whole shebang.
They showed this thing too where he brought out UFC fighter. Who was it? A Mexican dude. I can't remember. He brought him out on stage. Pretty famous UFC fighter, and he demonstrated Mark Zuckerberg and him having a conversation with the real translation. So this fella's speaking Spanish, Mark Zuckerberg speaking English, and it's live translating the conversation.
Oh, now that is cool,
crazy,
man.
right?
That's cool. I've always wanted to speak another language, even though that's a cheat code. Just to reply back in your native tongue and them.
He even said, I saw briefly that he also said another thing that they're trialing with Meta, Instagram and shit, is but something that they're trialing. Right?
Have you tried the spicy chicken cutlet? No, I'm joking.
But something they're trialing at Meta and stuff is he said they're going to auto dub videos now. So like on Meta, when you're scrolling and shit, if you see a video in a different language, it'll automatically be dubbed so you can understand it. So if someone, say a dude in fucking, Russia or something is making a video in Russian and you flick through and you watch it, it's going to be in English for you. Or he's speaking English.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I mean, I don't have any more points, to be honest. Do you have any more points?
Yeah, no, that was it for my stories, man.
Yeah, man.
We are.
I think we might as well.
I like how DZ saved it from the morbid ending.
Yeah, no, because when I realized, I'm like, please don't that be our final.
I just wanted to talk about cool Mark Zuckerberg now. I like him now. He's cool.
So,
he's got the update, bro.
Do you reckon his manager went, listen, you look ridiculous. You look
like a
ridiculous on the
reptilian.
UFC. Like when he's at the UFC, I can't stand when he's trying to he's standing there. It's like, you know how when the UFC guys, they're about to get their Vaseline on their eyes and the refs checking at the cup or whatever. Then you got his corner. They're standing there going, Mark Zuckerberg's just standing there like, you can just tell he doesn't know where to go. And I'm like, oh, bro, he's so
it's funny now, but he used to wear like the typical sweater and nerdy shit, but now he's full got the chain and shit like.
So Facebook would have got look, man.
I mean, he's that rich, bro. I'd wear a fucking fat chain if I was that rich.
Cuz.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'll do us.
Yeah, I think
man.
so, man.
We've had a whopper. And it just sucks because I feel like we could literally sit here for 6 hours.
Oh, easy.
See, I feel like when we go for our record 12-hour podcast, Cal needs to be there. He will be there, one of the main culprits.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling you, we get that machine with the 6 mics.
Yeah.
So us 4 can go and then just people can come in and out kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, guys, thank you as always.
Thank you
Aussie
for
slang.
watching.
Hey.
Is there anything you want to end on? Tell the people anything.
Love you all. Love each other. Remember, you're more than what you think you are, and never go to despair. There's hope lies beyond despair.
Beautiful.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Nothing important.
I can't follow that, bro. I was just going to say synergy tickets. I don't know what the go is with those.
Bro, I can't because it's my birthday.
Is it? Yeah, it's my birthday 2 days before.
Yeah.
What are you doing for your birthday?
I'm going with family. It's my last...
To Synergy?
No. No, it's our last it's my last birthday at my house because my mom's still in the house. So,
True. Yeah, it's my birthday like 2 days before it, so fucking fuck. All right, guys, as always, Aussie Slang, always a pleasure, bro. This will not be the last time we see Aussie Slang Venus on here, man. You will not be able to find him on Twitch at the moment, but we are talking off air about some rebranding ideas we got going. Just things take a little bit of time. So remember, get your Synergy tickets, guys. We are literally still down to the last handful. People are being stubborn now. Just 5 of you motherfuckers buy a fucking ticket already. Like, god damn.
Buy a Hydro Grip.
Hydro Grip. Let them know you're from the FireCast. Guys, thank
Stream
you so
the
much,
music.
boys.
Go.
Let's go.